All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. We're going to talk about the symbolism of Tom Brady announcing that he's no longer going to be a member of the New England Patriots during the time of this coronavirus outbreak. Most people do not understand that sports and news are scripted together unless they follow the work we've been putting out for years. And, one of the easiest examples to see that this is the case is the story of Tom Brady and the Patriots. A lot of people weren't able to connect the very simple dots right after 9/11. September 11th, 2001 happened. The government passed the Patriot Act. And then all of a sudden, the New England Patriots became a dynasty football team, a team that had been mediocre at best for their franchise history. And don't forget, it was a New York Jet, Mo Lewis, who sacked Drew Bledsoe, that gave rise to Tom Brady, a New York Jet. Remember, we got to go back to 1968 because in that year, the New York Jets, that was their only Super Bowl winning season. World Trade Center construction began. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. Boeing debuted their first jumbo jetliner. 2001 A Space Odyssey came out, etc., etc. All those things in the same year, and not by accident. It's because sports and news have been scripted together for a very long time. When they say all roads lead to Rome, they're not joking, The Romans gave people the bread and the circus. Sports are the modern day circus. So think about it. New England, right? United Kingdom, United States of America. The United Kingdom's on lockdown. The United States cities are beginning to go on lockdown. New England. The dynasty coming to an end. This is all symbolism. This is all mockery. And, if you're new here, I haven't just talked a lot. I've written a book about it, but I always talk about Tom Brady, September 11th, and 77. I always talk about these three things. It's all in my book. Tom Brady was born in 1977 on the date August 3rd, 83. A great day to be a football player because football is 83. But that year, 77. Today, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. He kind of passed the torch on from himself to Patrick Mahomes. We said to watch St. Patrick's Day around the time of the Super Bowl. Anyway, here we are on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, the 77th day of the year, and the man born in 77 announces he's leaving New England. Now remember, in Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, United States equals 77. When you write out September 11th as words, it equals 77. When you write out World Trade Center, it equals 77. These are special numbers. It's not an accident that this is happening today as the United States is going on lockdown. Because again, let's go back and think about 9/11 and the Patriot Act. 9/11 and the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was about taking away our rights and liberties and giving more power to the government to have surveillance over our lives, to have control over our lives for the sake of our supposed safety. We had to be protected from the boogeyman in the cave, remember? That guy with the long beard on the other side of the world in the cave. That magical man, Osama. Again, these were stories for sheep. But we gave up our rights and liberties. We gave the government more power and control. And what's going on right now? The government's using that power and control that they have over us right at this very moment. They're telling us what we can and can't do. They're saying, look, America, 70 people have died. You need to stay in your homes because of these 70 elderly people that died across the nation in nursing homes. You don't get to go out anymore. Small business owners, suck it up. You don't get to have customers anymore. We're Big Brother. We're going to tell you what you can do. 70 elderly people died across the nation over the course of the last 2 months. You don't have any rights anymore. Stay in your house. Pretty soon the National Guard and military will be on your streets. People don't see what a joke this is. See, this is what I've been saying since September 11, 2001. If you can't see what a joke 9/11 is, What other jokes are they going to pull over our eyes and expect us to submit to? 70 elderly dead people over the course of 2 months. 70 elderly people have passed away, and all of this tearing down the economy, shutting down cities, shutting down schools, shutting down transportation. We live in a nation where a person dies every 4 seconds from preventable disease and illness, and it's been that way for all of my lifetime. That means 15 people a minute. I've probably already been talking long enough that more people have surpassed the coronavirus death toll from preventable disease and illness in this nation alone than all the coronavirus deaths in this nation over the course of the last 2 months. This is a joke. This is a joke. This is an agenda. This is a mockery. And I've been saying the same thing over and over and over since September 11, 2001. If my fellow man is this blind, if they are this dense, if they are this, unwilling to see the truth, I'm going to sink on this ship with them. They're going to take me down. I'm going to go down with all these sheep. And that's why on that day I decided I'm going to figure out how to do something to wake up the sheep. I'm going to bring something new into this world. I'm going to give something that's undeniable, something that's provable, beyond what's already should be obvious to everyone. And I feel that I've achieved that. And I've been doing it for 7 years straight. And, Google's done a very good job of taking me down so that the word doesn't get out. 19 channels deleted, shadow banned the entire time, etc., etc. I want to point something else out about the parallels from 2001, the year of September 11th and the beginning of the Patriots dynasty, and this year, 2020, 19 years later. If you're not aware of this, the moon in the sky, it does a perfect reset every 19 years. Every 19 years, perfect reset. If you look at a Jewish calendar or a Hebrew calendar, their religious holidays are on the exact same day every 19 years because all of their holidays follow the moon. What we talk about, Kabbalah and Gematria. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. Gematria is the Jewish practice of coding numbers into words. It is essentially Jewish numerology. When you learn this practice of Gematria, you can see through the riddles so clearly. You can see why the news stories come the day they do. That's why I wrote a book about the Patriots, Tom Brady, and the number 77. And here we are on the 77th day of 2020, and he announces he's leaving the team. This is not another coincidence. That's what kills me about the people who come across this work and say it's coincidence. You guys, if I won the lottery every single day, these same people would have to call it a coincidence every single day because that's essentially what we do. We hit astronomical odds every single day by connecting these dots. There's no way this can be a coincidence every single day. The only way I could be wrong about anything I'm saying is if, as some of my critics put it, they say I'm not decoding a conspiracy, I've just decoded the way the world works. You can think that all you want, but I'm pretty sure it's not the way the world just works. Case in point, on September 11th, there was a group of men arrested in New Jersey who were dancing and celebrating as the World Trade Centers came down. Those men turned out to be from Israel. They were sent back to Israel, and on live television in Israel, they went on TV. You can look it up, it's a fact. And they said they were in the United States that day to document the attacks. Does that sound like the way the world works, or does that sound like a planned conspiracy by the numbers, getting away with murder? It's no secret the you-know-who's put out the word, and a lot of you-know-who's didn't show up at the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001 as well. We've been talking a lot about 77 and the Jewish practice of coding numbers into words. Judaism is 77. So is Zionist. They got a lot of influence in media, government, and the world of sports. So we're going to hit a lot of headlines. We're going to talk about why Boris Johnson locked down the UK the day he did. We're going to talk about why on that same day a Game of Thrones star supposedly came down with coronavirus, as well as the British actor Idris Elba. We're going to talk about why Miami is going on lockdown today, March 17th. We're going to talk about why San Francisco went on lockdown on the 76th day of the year. Again, as I always teach, watch what the media emphasizes in headlines, like defining moment. See how it's 76 like San Francisco. On the 76th day of the year, San Francisco goes into lockdown. We're going to talk about the first trial vaccine for the coronavirus in Seattle, Washington. What have I been saying? Since January, when this all started in the U.S., when the first case was found in Seattle, Washington, just outside the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who hosted Event 201 on October 18, 2019, simulating a coronavirus pandemic that kills 65 million over 18 months. I've been saying the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have a lot to do with this. Bill Gates is in position to profit from this pandemic. And again, people really need to think about this. Bill Gates is in position to make a lot of money off this pandemic. Bill Gates is one of the 50 people in the United States, that group of 50 that have as much wealth as the bottom 270 million. And again, since it's a nation where people don't understand numbers, they can't do math, they have no skills at probability, they can hardly add and subtract, they can't balance a checkbook, they can't make a common sense decision financially. Again, to put 50 people and 270 million in perspective, 50 people's less than a football team, 270 million doesn't fit in every stadium that's built in this nation for sports, professional, college, and high school. But again, a lot of normal people are getting hurt right now. They can't even open their business. Their government's telling them they need to stay home. Customers can't go to the businesses they want to. Again, real people getting hurt, rich and powerful people, they're going to stand to benefit from this crisis, especially the bankers. And that's going to be a big discussion in this video. Shout out to Eric, who came down and met me on the streets of Seattle. He put a nice thought in my ear, and I know he's dead on, because I was watching today to see if today would be the day that the banks and proposals came for the big bailouts. I'm going to tell you why I was watching for today, to see if that would happen. March 17th, the 77th day of the year, has everything to do with the original bankers in the world, the Knights Templar. Again, the story is, once upon a time, the Knights Templar, who were the original bankers of the world because they had the fighting power and the armor to defend people's money and valuables. But once upon a time, the Knights Templar, after the Crusades, supposedly secured this knowledge of Kabbalah and Gematria and the ancient mystery religions and brought it back to the Catholic Church, where it's probably mostly all been locked away in vaults, where the word's gotten out to, the few, the elite. So anyhow, we're going to talk about this Seattle thing more. We're going to talk about how Sirius XM has made channel 121 their coronavirus channel. Again, I was just down in Seattle educating about the ritual of January 21st, 121, the first case being found in the U.S. outside the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, 121. Coronavirus outbreak, 121. World Health Organization, 121, which is headquartered in Switzerland with the banks. Talking about how Tom Hanks, Mr. Sleepless in Seattle, got a coronavirus 121 days from his birthday, and more. Now they make Channel 121, the coronavirus channel on Sirius XM. Remember, Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. Freemasonry works by this code of letters and numbers. Here in the United States, the nation's capital is named after the Freemason George Washington. It's known as the Masonic City. But Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. If you look into Freemasonry, to them, one of the most important objects in the sky is Sirius, the dog star. You ever seen that Truman Show movie, which is about a surveillance state? The camera falls down at the beginning from the dome that he doesn't realize he lives in, and it's marked with the word Sirius. This guy's making a lot of rounds right now. Anthony Fauci, doctor, on the TV, adding to the hysteria. Notice his name in Gematria equals coronavirus. Remember, in that same cipher, the most pure cipher, so does toilet paper. Can't tell you how many people downtown Seattle I just saw walking around with bags filled with toilet paper, like they need enough to wipe their ass for the next 20 years. It's like, come on, people. Anyway, I know what's going on all over the nation. I was just downtown Seattle getting the word out. It's happening here in the smaller town I live in the middle of Washington, Yakima. We'll talk more about Brady. We're going to talk about Switzerland and the banks and what's going on with this contrived pandemic that's going to make a lot of money for the banks. Are you seeing the proposals worldwide for lending? The U.S. today asked for $850 billion from the banks. The U.K. asked for $400 billion from the banks. And all sorts of nations are following suit. Imagine doing the interest math on those loans. And realize it's us, the taxpayers, that have to pay the interest. It's profit for the people who control the scheme. So we'll be getting to that. We'll be talking about the you-know-who pitched the $850 billion idea today. Remember, he's the same you-know-who that audited Fort Knox for the first time in forever on the day of the great American solar eclipse, where the sun was all the way blacked out, as it was for the first time over the nation. It hadn't done that in 99 years, practically since the last time it was audited, Fort Knox. But people didn't get the joke with him doing it on that day. Again, in alchemy, the sun represents gold. So if the sun is blacked out, what's the symbolism with the gold? It's not there. It's all gone. See the sick joke? People don't get it. They were too busy waiting to see, what the box score was for the sports game. And then we'll talk more about the Dow Jones roller coaster. So, okay, we're going to just go through this piece by piece, work our way up to Tom Brady and beyond. So yesterday, March 16th, 2020, Boris Johnson. You know what? And before I go even further with this, just in case you've missed all the coverage that I've done over the years on News by the Numbers worldwide, including the UK, I just want to go back and make sure you got this biggest story that we covered out of the whole Brexit fiasco. Undeniable what they're doing. From the day that Theresa May took office, July 13, 2016, to the day she stepped down for Boris Johnson, July 24, 2019, it was exactly 158 weeks on the nose, right? Boris Johnson's 158, just like Freemasonry. A number that relates to the Jesuits, who are a very powerful secret society as well, where their date of formation is August 15th, 15/8. So anyway, it's all Freemasonry. Modern Freemasonry comes out of the United Kingdom. Remember, modern Freemasonry began on the date June 24th, 1717. Why the year 1717? Mason equals 17. And Freemasonry equals 59 in Hebrew and English. 59 is the 17th prime. 59 years after 1717, the United States of America was established in 1776. And again, established by Masons. Boris Johnson equals 59. London, England, 59. Freemasonry, 59. So again, let's just go through this. Why did he do this March 16th? In the UK, they write that date 16/3 like 163, which is the 38th prime number. They went into lockdown. Lockdown is 38. Over the contrived pandemic, 38. Same numbers we continue to talk about. Now notice United Kingdom has the gematria of 65 forwards, 70 in reverse. Pandemic has the gematria of 65. Coronavirus has the gematria of 70. We keep talking about the same numbers. And don't forget the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They simulated a coronavirus outbreak that kills 65 million over the course of 18 months. And you can go back and check this out. It's all factual. Melinda Gates' birthday is August 15th. The day they did the simulation, October 18th, was her 65th day of her age. You can go back and look at the day that Bill and Melinda Gates were married. January 1st, 1994. That was 65 days after Bill Gates' 38th birthday. Again, pandemic is 65 and 38. They got married 65 days after Bill Gates' 38th birthday. His birthday is October 28th. Again, the first case in the U.S. was found in Snohomish County, which equals 70, which is just north of Seattle. It was confirmed in Seattle, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is headquartered. Understand, These are all parts of the puzzle of who's behind this agenda. Very powerful people, very powerful governments, very powerful banks. So anyway, the United Kingdom. At the center of it all, as they say, the sun never sets on the United Kingdom, which has territories worldwide, including the United States of America. No doubt we never really got free. It was all just about expansion and duping the populace. That's what it's always been about. That's what government does. Dupes people to allow people to be controlled. That's essentially what the function of government is. To persuade people to be controlled through lies, through propaganda, through thinking that, there's this greater entity that can keep them safe from problems in the world. And sometimes these governments have to go out and create the problem to do the persuading, from 9/11 to this. We're going to be talking a lot about the Knights Templar in a little bit. The Knights Templar gained a lot of their power in their history in the United Kingdom. Notice Knights Templar is the exact same as United Kingdom in 2 of the 4 base ciphers. In case you're new here, there's the alphabetic order. The alphabetic order with the rules of numerology is considered the most pure cipher, where they're both 65. The word Christianity is also 65 in that cipher. That's the thing you must be to be a member of the Knights Templar. It's a Masonic order, but you must be a Christian. Christianity is 65 in the same cipher. Society of Jesus is 79 in the same cipher as Knights Templar. Those are the Jesuits in the Catholic Church. It's all related. But United Kingdom, Knights Templar are both 205. That's a number that relates to Jerusalem and Israel. Again, the story is after the Crusades. The Knights Templar got the knowledge from Jerusalem and brought it back to the Catholic Church. But we're going to be talking about the Knights Templar a whole lot and a little bit. The reason I was watching today to see if there would be big, lending or suggestions for lending, which there were, is because today's March 17th. 17/3, like 173. And again, the Knights Templar are the original bankers of this world. This is why today you're seeing the UK and United States make these huge proposals. Huge. Between the two nations, it's $1.25 trillion being proposed in lending. And think about it. The interest, they make almost all that in profit. So it's like, just between those two nations, the bankers stand to gain $1.25 trillion in profit. Because 70 people have died in elderly facility centers pretty much between the two nations. Think about it. This is a joke. This is a big joke. In pounds, it's 330 billion. Go figure, huh? Got to put the 3 on it. Okay, so, Boris Johnson, one of the bad Barber brothers from New York. Of course, his twin is Donald Trump. If you didn't know that Boris Johnson's from New York, he is. They almost have the same birthday, these two stooges. One's June 14th. That's Trump, which is also the U.S. flag's birthday. And speaking of the flag's birthday for the U.S. being June 14th, 14/6, look at United Kingdom with the alphabetic order, 146. Remember what happened in the UK the other year? The apartment fire on June 14th. I tell you to go back and watch my videos on it, but my channel's been deleted about 20 times since then. So I remember I did get 2 strikes for covering the apartment fires and just showing the ritual. The things you can't talk about at this day and age. And keep in mind, the UK does have the red cross in the middle of their flag. Switzerland's flag is red with a white cross. The Knights Templar, they have the red cross. The symbolism is all there. Boris Johnson has the same birthday as King James. Talk more about that in a moment. But notice from Boris Johnson's birthday to his announcement yesterday was 271 days. That's the 58th prime number. Remember, London, England's 5958, Freemasonry's 5859. The day he did this had 59 date numerology. Boris Johnson's also 59 and 158, like Freemasonry's 158 and 59. And it was just days ago that Donald Trump, it was 271 days after his birthday, the 58th prime, travel ban equals 58. He made the travel ban with Europe, with 26 nations over the virus. Virus is 26. Of course, Donald Trump was the winner of the rigged 58th U.S. presidential selection. That's why he announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower. That's why he hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. It's why years ago, Suddenly Susan, the TV show, did an episode that came out on May 8th about Trump being the President of the United States. Predictive programming. Same rituals again and again. George W. Bush equals 58, a Mason. He won the presidency in the rigged selection with 271 electoral votes. These numbers come together all the time. Just go through my blog, go through all the years of things we've discussed. Very repetitive what they do. Masonry runs the show. The Knights Templar, the Jesuits, the Scottish Rite Freemasons, etc., etc. They're all Masonic orders. Okay, and again, just in case you got here late, we talked about, with regards to 158, how from the day Theresa May took office, which was all part of the Brexit hoax, Brexit equals 33, like Masonry, like secrecy, like order, like federal, like England. From the whole Brexit scandal to her, with David Cameron, Cameron 33, who boxed up 10 Downing Street with 330 boxes, a headline at the time. From Theresa May replacing David Cameron to her being replaced by Boris Johnson exactly 158 weeks later. And remember, they said it was going to be Boris Johnson before it even was Theresa May. And now you can see why they had Theresa May in there as a stopgap. It was just all ritual. They had to have the barbershop brothers in there together. Got to come up with a better... What's a good nickname for them? It truly is like they both have blind barbers. It's like, how can you guys have such god-awful haircuts? I mean, Trump and Boris Johnson, it's just all part of the mockery, you guys. It truly is. It's all part of the mockery. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot about 65, like how United Kingdom 65, pandemic 65, You know what else? I've been talking about Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, how they put on the simulation that killed 65 million people on October 18th. There was one other sponsor of that. There was one other sponsor of that simulation. It was Johns Hopkins University. How have I been missing this the whole time, you guys? That's another 121 right there with Johns Hopkins University, and also 113 like coronavirus. Pandemic, but Johns Hopkins alone is 158, 59, and 58, like Freemasonry. Wow, so it's another 121 with Johns Hopkins University. I've just been looking at the Johns Hopkins the whole time. Well, we got another 121 for the list to go with why Channel 121's the coronavirus outbreak channel. But again, it was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Johns Hopkins University that partnered to put on the Event 201 simulation. Makes me wonder what other low-hanging fruit I've been missing all these time. So anyway, that simulation killed 65 million. And let me just put something up on the screen just in case you're new here today. And assuming you're not one of the sheep that already ran away. That's what most sheep do. They just go, oh, numerology, that's stupid. I had a guy come up to me on the streets of Seattle, and that was it. Comes up to me, he goes, numerology's stupid, right? And I said, have you heard the quote from the Rockefellers? Their quote is, billionaires use numerology, millionaires don't. And we're out here exposing a numerology game with the billionaire Bill Gates. You know what he did? Turned his back and walked away. Again, dumb people. Closed-minded, they think they know it all. When they get confronted or shut down or put in their place, they just scurry away, But this is it. Experts simulated a coronavirus pandemic last year and it killed 65 million. Again, this was Event 201, put on Bill and Melinda Gates and Johns Hopkins, October 18th, 2019. That was the exact same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China. And if you look, the original military World Games were in Rome. All roads lead to Rome. Melinda Gates' birthday, August 15th, they put on the simulation on the 65th day of her age. Pandemic 65, simulation 65. Again, their marriage came 65 days after Bill Gates' 38th birthday. Pandemic 65 and 38. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So anyway, 65. Notice Game of Thrones is 65, like United Kingdom. This actor's last name, Hivju, 65. On the same day, another actor from the UK, Idris Elba, 65. He supposedly gets it. Pandemic, 65. It's the year of the rat, 65. Remember, Bill Gates, Mr. Computers, viruses. In recent years, he's become Mr. Vaccine to stop the viruses. Again, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's right across the street from the Space Needle, the most famous needle in the world. Vaccines, needles, coronavirus. Corona means crown. Bill Gates is in King County, Seattle, Washington. Symbolism. In your face. This man's full name, it has a lot of standout gematria. Notice his full first name with the alphabetic order, 121. Again, coronavirus outbreak, 121. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, 121. Johns Hopkins University, 121. World Health Organization, 121, etc., etc. Hivju also has the 70 in it, like coronavirus. His name in the most pure cipher is 74. Remember, that is the number. October 18th, the day of the simulation, was the day leaving 74 days left in the year. If you're new here, since I began this work, the number I've taught about the most is 74. Masonic is 74. English is 74. Gematria is 74. Occult 74. London 74. And the list goes way on besides that. All of those equal 74 just using the alphabetic order, the most simple cipher there is. So his name just has so many things that are encoded in it. The 191 and 187 are super important. I mean, there's just so many pieces to this Cabal puzzle. And it's hard to explain them all in one video. It might be overwhelming, but those are the numbers of the Jesuits, 191 and 187. Again, the Jesuits connect to the Catholic Church. The Knights Templar connects to the Catholic Church. Again, it's very possible that the Catholic Church is the head of the beast. So, his name has numbers is the point. If you just looked at his first and last name, just using the alphabetic order, numbers that connect to coronavirus outbreak and coronavirus. Some people think that when you use all these ciphers, you can just put anything together. It's not true. It's not true. It's completely false. From his birthday, looks like I might have forgot to, here, let me get I forgot to put the screenshot of his name in there. His birthday is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, right? From his birthday, Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, to the day of the diagnosis, which was March 16th, was his 101st day of his age. Again, that's the 26th prime, and virus is 26. Gets the virus on his 101st day of his age. Idris Elba, black actor from the UK, on the day they go into lockdown, one of their most well-known actors, kind of the man who's replacing Denzel Washington in Hollywood. And I got to admit, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. But the day they do this, the most appropriate day to bring a black celebrity into it. It was a date with 59 numerology, and it was March 16th, the 76th day of the year. Notice, with the alphabetic order, slave, Negro, Rasta, blues, all 59. If you flip the alphabetic order in reverse, they're all 76. The Million Man March in history was on the day leaving 76 days left in the year. For those of you who don't remember the Million Man March, it was 1 million black men in Washington, D.C., standing up for their rights. Acts 7:6. I was talking about this all last year. Last year in August marked the 400-year anniversary, according to the history books, of slaves arriving in America. Acts 7:6 is about the prophecy of these 400 years of being mistreated in a foreign land. And then the next verse, Acts 7:7, is about that nation paying the consequences after those 400 years are up. So I've been saying, you guys, I've been telling you, get ready for this. What's coming? Acts 7:7, United States 77. Here we are on the 77th day of the year. The symbolism's all over the place. You know, the nation really starting to go into lockdown today. Cities saying, okay, we got to do it too. We got to do it too. As I've always explained, the Cabal, they operate by the code of letters and numbers, which comes from Kabbalah, where Kabbalah says God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. And they use the Bible as their playbook. like they're a coach on the sidelines using scripture to coordinate the next event. All the 121s coded all over, the word revelation equals 121. Revelation is the concluding book of the Bible. Last week we were talking about the death of the actor from the film The Seventh Seal. In Revelation, when the seventh seal's broken, the 7 plagues are unleashed. And, when I was just out on the streets talking to people, there were a lot of people I encountered who didn't know anything about the Bible. They didn't even know about the number 666, which blew my mind. There were a number of people like, I think I've heard something about that. I was like one guy was like, you've never heard of Revelation or 666, the number of the beast? He's like, no, I don't follow the Bible at all. I'm like, but it's like everywhere. It's like in movies and everything. He's just like, I don't know anything about it. I'm going to have to look into it. I was just telling him you should. I said because, this might sound all crazy to you, but you should read it because it talks about having to accept the number of the beast and a mark of the beast. And if you don't have the mark, then you can't participate in the economy. I said, imagine if after all this, they say that if you don't go get Bill Gates' vaccine, that you can't, fly or travel or have a license or get a job, I'm pretty sure that's where this huge inconvenience is going. They're contriving all of this for a reason. They are creating a great inconvenience in society. It's going to make people go, you know what? I don't ever want to miss my March Madness tournament again. I don't ever want to not be able to go to my favorite bar again. I don't want to be stopped from working again. I had to eat ramen noodles for 3 weeks. Sick of ramen noodles. You know what I mean? So anyhow, on this day of this big 65 ordeal, of course, the actor's name equals 65. Just like Year of the Rat, just like Pandemic. Remember, we're in the Year of the Rat. Bill Gates' Microsoft. They had a video game come out in 2019 called A Plague's Tale where you fight off rats the whole game. You think that's an accident? Definitely not. Okay. Oh, they had to mention, by the way, that Idris Elba's 47 years old. If you're new here, there's 47 degrees on the Masonic compass out of the Scottish Rite of France. France went on lockdown as well. France equals 47. And Idris Elba's full name equals 147, like Freemason. Also like conspiracy, I should have put that up there. His name with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology is 57, like Scottish Rite, also like vaccine. Remember, the World Health Organization was established on April 7th, 47. Date that can also be written 7-4. They emphasize this phrase up here for him, I didn't have any symptoms. Look at the gematria of that phrase. I didn't have any symptoms. 96 like Freemason. The divisors of 42 sum to 96. The other number they like to stamp on Black history is 42. And look at his birthday, September 6, 9-6, right? Born on 9-6. 47 at the time. The news came on his 193rd day of his age. That's the 44th prime number. That's a fateful number for a lot of black civil rights leaders, including Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. MLK killed on 4-4. Malcolm X killed on a date with 44 numerology. His assassin got 44 years in prison. His assassin was Thomas Hagen. Thomas Hagen equals 44, like kill, like shooting. So I imagine, like most actors, he'll be just fine. But if you see any headlines about how he died, well, remember that he was diagnosed on his 193rd day of his age. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they don't even report that. And if they did report it, it'd probably be BS. But just interesting they do it on his 193rd day of his age. You think about the first black president over here in the U.S., number 44. Elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act. Ran on hope. Hope equals 44. So for more to the 65 show, today, March 17th, Miami, Florida, they announced that, they're going into lockdown. Miami, Florida, 65. Notice how Florida overlaps with pandemic in 3 of the 4 ciphers, alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, reverse alphabetic order. We'll see how many more cities follow suit today. There's still a lot of time left in this day. And notice how CNN did the headline. U.S. cities shut down to slow outbreak. So this is today's headline, March 17th. I want you to see why this is so significant today. So March 17th. Today has 40 date numerology, right? Plus it's 17/3 in the majority of the world. And notice, 173 is the 40th prime number. Well, if I can type here. 173 is the 40th prime number. Plus we have 40 date numerology. Plus it's the 77th day of the year. With the alphabetic order, United States is 40. With the reverse alphabetic order, United States is 77. So what a day for a headline like this. United States cities shut down to slow outbreak on this day of all days. Again, everything is being done by the code. And Tom Brady's part of the story today. He's the biggest story besides coronavirus, the man born in 1977. And of course, 40 is a biblical number, right? Old Testament number, 40 here, 40 there. See if things are shut down for 40 days and 40 nights. Remains to be seen. San Francisco in 76, we've talked about it a million times before. If you followed me on Patreon this year for the sports, after week 3, we saw a big riddle with the 49ers and the Chiefs. And we said, hey, probably worth putting a future in on a Chiefs over 49ers Super Bowl. Part of the number we talked about that day was 76. We'd actually even talked about it before week 3. But anyway, San Francisco equals 76. They emphasize defining moment 76. On the 76th day of the year, San Francisco goes into lockdown. And again, you learn this code, you follow the headlines each day, you see what's really up. They do it all by the numbers every single day. California got that 65 Gematria as well, like pandemic. We've talked about it a bunch. I forget, whatever the cruise line was outside of, I have to go back and look at it. There was some cruise line on the 65th day of the year outside San Francisco that supposedly had a bunch of coronavirus patients on board. London Breed. This announcement, she made the announcement from her August 11th birthday to the day she did it was 7 months and 6 days into her age. 76. You know how this country's founded in 1776? The word symbol 76. Secret Society's got the 76 Gematria. From the day she made the announcement to her upcoming birthday was also 148 days. Fraternal's 148. But notice what was emphasized in that headline. Defining moment, 148 and 76. On the 76th day of the year, 148 days from her upcoming birthday. See what I mean? This stuff is not an accident. It is not an accident. Not at all. And remember how she became mayor. You had the death of the other San Francisco mayor, the Asian guy, can't even think of his name. Was it Ed Lee? Whatever, he was whacked by the code. We covered that thing. And then she became the mayor. Sometimes I wonder if there are some politicians out there that maybe aren't part of the cabal, and they got to get them out of the way, right? It's like, well, we got a big event coming here. We need to get our agent in there. Get old London in there. Or maybe Ed Lee was part of the cabal and he heard about this future plan. He's like, I don't really want to do that. Oh, really? Have a nice rest of your day, Ed. Try to visit you later. And then Ed's obituary's in the headlines the next day. I mean, it could be like that. You don't know. But adding to the comedy of this ritual by the numbers, again in the background I have that license plate that says, what is 47? I'm always educating about what is 47. What day did she announce that the lockdown would go through? At least April 7th. 4-7 or a date that can be written 7-4. Again, all day. That's the government number. DC's 47, government's 47, authorities 47, the cabal's 47, policeman 47, cop 47, White House 47, president 47, Trump 47, Republican 47, Democrat 47. The list does go on. That's not all. That is not all. But again, just doing it all by the numbers. That's also the World Health Organization's birthday. The World Health Organization. Remember, they got the snake on their logo. Don't forget Kobe Bryant, the snake, the black mamba buried in Corona del Mar, which equals the same thing as coronavirus. But here's the World Health They will turn 72 years old the day the lockdown might end in San Francisco. San Francisco named after St. Francis of Assisi, like Pope Francis. Okay. San Francisco on the 122nd meridian, like Seattle. That movie Pandemic came out 122 January 22nd. Okay, and also they're calling this shelter in place. It sounds nicer than coronavirus. Sounds nicer than martial law. Shelter in place. Shelter in place, though, equals 78, like Wuhan coronavirus, like order out of chaos. Another number that's shown up a lot. Remember, the Masonic motto is order out of chaos. You know how this is the biggest inconvenience to the nation since 9/11 19 years ago? Getting the moon on that 19-year cycle. And the most pure cipher, chaos, is 19. They're saying the epicenter in the United States is Seattle, another 19. The construction firm that built the World Trade Center is from Seattle, but that's another story. If you actually want to go back and watch the first video I did on coronavirus in the U.S., I actually talked about the parallel that night between Seattle and New York once again. And those are the cities with the two biggest outbreaks so far, Seattle and New York. Realize, controlling the nation, coast to coast, symbolism, numbers. Okay, so again, Seattle, where Bill and Melinda Gates are. Bill Gates, he's working on the universal vaccine to stop all future pandemics. That's his goal. And in Seattle, they start doing the first trials on a vaccine. They said it could last up to 18 months, but I also saw a clip last night that they're going to try to expedite it and have it done in 65 days. Here, let me just play this clip for you real quick. Okay, I'm going to play this clip real quick right here of this guy saying they want to have the vaccine done in 65 days. And I'm going to have to talk to Sweet Lady about this. She happens to be in pharmacy school right now. They're learning about how this is such a long, rigorous process. 18 months would even be relatively quick, but 65 days, that's 2 months. And again, we know why they're saying this. Watch this. Oh, hold on.
He talked about rushing to develop a vaccine in record time, and he mentioned
that might be pretty quiet. If you guys can't hear this, I apologize. I'm just going to start it over right here, but they're talking about rushing. You know what? If you're watching the live stream right now, let me just throw this link in there so you can check it out later. If you click on it now, you'll lose this live stream, but if you want to save that link for later. But I'm going to play it. It is pretty quiet, but try to listen carefully. Try to boost your volume if you need to.
biotech company called Moderna. At the White House, Dr. Anthony Fauci talked about rushing to develop a vaccine in record time, and he mentioned Jennifer Haller being the first in line.
The vaccine candidate that was given the first injections for the first person took place today. You might recall when we first started, I said it would be 2 to 3 months, and if we did that, that would be the fastest we've ever gone from obtaining the sequence to being able to do a phase 1 trial. This has been now 65 days, which I believe is the record.
65 days, which he believes is the record. Okay, so again, it's being done in Seattle where they hosted, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted the simulation, but they actually did it in the East Coast by the nation's capital, where Johns Hopkins is. But again, 65 million, now 65 days, first trial in Seattle. And just wait until we get to Dr. Anthony Fauci, or whatever his name is. Just wait. But the company doing it is Moderna, which equals 70, like coronavirus. The first case was found in Snohomish County, which equals 70. We've been talking about this number plenty. The one agency in the nation that has the most cases, which I'm sure has gone up by now, but the other weekend they broke the headline, this agency has 70 cases of coronavirus. That was in Kirkland, Washington, just outside of Seattle, where the first Costco's from, that probably has something to do with the toilet paper crisis. Again, they're making a lot of money off toilet paper. Costco's nationwide have set up a separate part of the store just to come in and buy toilet paper. Don't forget, toilet paper equals the exact same thing as mind control in all 4 base ciphers. And in the most pure cipher, it's the same as coronavirus. Toilet paper's got that 56, like coronavirus, 56. But again, look at toilet paper and look at mind control. I saw all sorts of bots walking around Seattle with their bags full of toilet paper. Some of them didn't even want to talk to us. They thought they knew everything now that they had, 8 years worth of TP. But look at that. The exact same in all 4 ciphers. And could there be... Oh, U.S. deaths hit 100. I just saw a headline this morning that said 70. So we went from 70 to 100 today? Man, the numbers are just taking off. Okay. So anyway, this trial from January 21st, which was when the first case was found in the U.S., to March 16th was 56 days. Isn't that perfect? Coronavirus 56, also 70 when you were flipping it in reverse. Moderna doing it. Again, all of this by the numbers. And this was done on the 76th day of the year again. Vaccines is 76. Notice how Washington State, well, and you can also think of the nation's capital, federal agenda, but Washington and vaccines, the exact same in the reduction ciphers, forwards and backwards. And let's see here. The first recipient was this woman, Jennifer Haler, 43 years old. Jennifer Haler's got the 137 and 74, 137, the 33rd prime. Remember, government's 137, Washington, D.C. 137, authority 137, 137, the 33rd prime, Corona 33. Seattle used to be called Alki. Alki's 33. And they shut down 33 schools in Seattle. Initially, they probably shut down more since, but that was the headline. We covered that. The first school to shut down was Washington Huskies. Washington Huskies equals Wuhan coronavirus. But notice this woman's name's also got the 74 in the most pure cipher. 74 again and again and again and again and again. Again, the first case was just north of Seattle in Snohomish County, and then it was confirmed in King County. Snohomish County's got that 7470. Kaiser Permanente is who administered the first experimental trials. And if you're not familiar with Kaiser Permanente, they are a horrible health company that probably makes people worse off. I had an experience with Kaiser Permanente, just to go on a little tangent. Last time I was at the doctor, I had Kaiser Permanente through my work insurance. And I was at the office that day, typing up a report like any other day, and all of a sudden my ear started to ring. And it continued to ring through the whole day while I worked, and I was in a quiet environment. And I stopped by the doctor's office and just asked if they could take a look at my ear. Never heard it ring like this before. Couldn't even see a real doctor that day. I saw a doctor's assistant, and she looked at my ear and she goes, "Have you been sick anytime recently?" I said, "Well, like a few months ago I had a small cold that lasted a couple days." She goes, "It's probably that." And I was like, "Really? A cold a few months ago that lasted a couple days is making my ear ring 3 months later?" She goes, "It can happen." She said, "If it's still ringing in 48 hours, come back." So it was. So I came back in 48 hours, and this time they let me see a real doctor, and the real doctor goes, "Man, if you would have caught this in the first 24 hours, we got this experimental drug that's really effective." I was like, "Are you serious, man?" I came in like 4 hours after it started ringing, and the nurse's assistant, she didn't say anything about that, and she told me it was probably no big deal. Well, my ear still rings to this day. That was January 2006. That was a long time ago. And, that was the quality of Kaiser Permanente. So if it was true that the experimental drug worked if you caught it within 24 hours, because they were so incompetent and shitty, my ear still rings 14 years and months later. So this is what kind of agency Kaiser Permanente is. But notice their gematria. The same as New World Order, number of the beast. That's what this is. It's the beast system, the New World Order. And, again, they're going to make you accept the mark of the beast, right? This is all the revelation encoding. So, and then they're doing it in 65 days. They're going for the record. Okay. Really, it couldn't be any more clear. SiriusXM getting this channel 121. I got to add to this right now. I can't believe I was missing this the whole time. So it just further proves the point. I got a pencil in here. Let me bold it. Johns Hopkins University 121. We just verified that a second ago. And just in case you haven't seen the other ones written down, again, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 121, most pure cipher. Again, the first case in the U.S., the first case in the world outside of mainland China, January 21st, in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's backyard. Again, the agency that's right across the street from the needle, vaccines, King County, Seattle, Washington, Corona Crown, Mr. Computers, viruses, vaccines. But Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 121, coronavirus outbreak 121, World Health Organization 121, also 122, like how the film Pandemic came out the next day, January 22nd. Not to be confused with the next pandemic, which came out November 7th, 2019, where Bill Gates predicted a coronavirus outbreak out of China, likely out of an open-air market in the near future, which reminds that Seattle, its biggest tourist attraction, is an open-air market for another parallel. But then the other one is Johns Hopkins University. Oops, 121. It was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Johns Hopkins University that put on Event 201. And Bill Gates' full name is William Henry Gates, 201. Hey, it's also 258. I just closed it, but Kaiser Permanente had that 258. 96 like Freemason, 84 like Masonry, like Jesuit. Okay. Oh, and again, accepting the mark of the beast, Revelation 121. The word beast is 47. Seattle's on the 47th parallel. The World Health Organization was established on April 7th, etc., etc. If you've ever seen the film Rosemary's Baby, if you haven't seen that film, you should really watch it. But in the film Rosemary's Baby, it's about selling your soul to Satan for wealth and fame. If you watch that film, the man who wants to get famous, he allows his wife to be raped by Satan, who they referred to as Adrian in the movie, which equals 47 like beast. And if you watch the movie, you'll know when his wife's being raped by Satan. If you pause the movie right then, you'll see you're in the 47th minute of the film. Stuff's not an accident. This is how Hollywood operates. This number's 47, is large and in charge for these people. This is how the beast system operates every single day. And by the way, October 18th, 19, 10 plus 18 plus 19 is 47, the day of the simulation. Don't think that's an accident. Now, how about this doctor, Mr. Fear? His name in Gematria is 56 like coronavirus. Look at his name. He was the guy who was just standing at the podium in Washington, D.C. next to Donald Trump in that clip we just watched where he wants to do it in 65 days, a record. But look at this. Look at his name. Could you be any more of a federal agent? 137, the 33rd prime. His name is the exact same as Washington, D.C. in all four base ciphers. Remember, 187, big number there. George Washington's 187, Washington, D.C.'s 187, Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry's 187, Society of Jesus is 187, D.C.'s named after the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. It used to be the Catholic Colony, where it was policed by the Jesuits, or the Society of Jesus, 187. 187 gets its significance from the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible that are 187 chapters. 61's another prime number, comes from sacred geometry. The flower of life is made out of 61 circles. Sacred geometry is related to Gematria, which means geometry and language, which means it's related to Kabbalah. Masonry is based in Kabbalah. All of these numbers have symbolism. You notice these first two over here break down to 11 in numerology. 1 plus 3 plus 7, 11. 56 is 5 plus 6, 11. All these 121s all over the place. 121 has a square root of 11. 11, the master number for the master plan. These numbers over here in numerology break down to 7. 7, a divine number. It's a divine plan in the minds of psychopaths. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, so they emphasize this phrase up here. Going to have to hunker down significantly more. That comes from Dr. Anthony Fauci or Fauci or whatever it is. Sounds like some designer gear. Anyhow, that phrase, it's got Gematria 211, which is the 47th prime number. In Jewish Gematria, Mason's 211. Remember how Trump's 47? The Apprentice is 211, the 47th prime. Remember Kobe, the Black Mamba 211. Dead on 47 date numerology. Now buried in Corona del Mar. He was suing the pharmaceutical companies. That was part of the narrative. Corona del Mar 5670. 5670. Say it out loud. Watch the same ciphers. If I can type. Oh my goodness. Coronavirus 5670. Where's Anthony from? Oh, he's from Brooklyn, New York. Remember Brooklyn, New York 74? The book. My book was for sale on Etsy. Brooklyn, New York 74, English 74, Gematria 74, Occult 74, Masonic 74, Jewish 74. On the 74th day of the year, Etsy out of Brooklyn, New York banned my book. A book that had all 5-star reviews, hundreds of positive reviews, making good money for them. Wonder why they banned my book on the 74th day of the year, huh? We don't live in a free society, you guys. We don't have free markets. We don't have fair markets. We live in a very controlled system. We live in a system that needs to be overthrown. And, you know, just to talk about what I was just doing down in Seattle, a lot of people who watch my video of how I confronted Fox News, they criticize me. They said, Zach, that's no way to get things done. You have to talk in a nice way and not be interrupting. All of you who left comments like that, you guys need to abandon the video and go shave the wool off your body. You guys are sheep. Do you think if I would have went and talked to Fox News politely, they were going to put my information out there? I mean, if you think that, you are brain dead. Media is propaganda. They don't put out real information. What I was doing was trying to inspire people about what needs to happen. We need to interrupt this society. The only mistake I made in that video was allowing that guy to lure me to the other side of the van. I should have said, oh, you think this is interesting? Here, let me go replace this douchebag over here. I'll stand in front of the camera, and you tell me when the light's green. I learned from Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, let's do it live. That's what I should have done. That was the only mistake I made. But the point is, I'm trying to inspire people to do the exact same types of things. We need to disrupt this system, not be polite and act like we're gullible idiots. You know, maybe if I just get down on my knees. No. This shit needs to go. This is an agenda being waged against us by assholes. They didn't take over the world by being polite. They took over the world by being ruthless. You know, by disrupting what was right. They need some of their own medicine. There's a lot of us and few of them. The problem is they've instilled fear and cowardice and insignificance, loserism in the minds of the masses. That's why so many of you can't donate a fucking dollar. Because in your head, you're programmed, you're owned, you're controlled. You're their lemmings, you're their peons. You think you have no power. You think you can't do anything. You think your dollar doesn't matter. Makes me sick, you guys. I think this opportunity at this building, I mean, it might linger because of what's going on with the economy. But again, we should already have the building secure. We should already be hiring Team Gematria because there's still enough people here who can afford $1 a month. $1 a month is recession proof. You know, if they really pull the rug out from under the world, we need a team of people during this time to be going out and, you know, lighting up some candles, being the light in the darkness. Now is the time. Why haven't you donated your dollar? How many more dollars have you given to the evil tyrants at their corporations and their shitty restaurants and their junk food? How many have you given in the time you haven't donated a dollar? I'm on the verge of not making any more videos and just putting out a statement for the people who hear me. Say, don't stop the support. I will come back and make videos, but I'm thinking what I need to do right now is just stop making videos because, you know, I'm tired of putting out this awesome work and then 5 people donating $1 a day. I mean, it's a joke. I think what I need to do is just stop making videos for the time being, finish the book, which I still haven't finished, but I'm so close to, get it printed. Hopefully people will buy that because it'll be a physical book. I have a feeling people are still going to make excuses. But I need to figure out a way to make this revenue stream happen so we can make it happen. I don't know what else to do. You know? I don't know what else to do. I gotta switch it up somehow. Guess I can go rob banks. I can become Bonnie and Clyde. I just gotta find Bonnie. But we gotta do something, you guys. The time is now. I've been saying this for 7 years. The time is now. It's gonna get worse every day. Everything I've said has been dead on. Told you everything. I said in 2013, I don't think we have 5 more years to speak out before, the censorship is just over the top. Well, I was right about that. I got deleted after 4 years. Been deleted 19 total times since June of 2017. They're making more and more laws and more rules of things you can't do. This shit's going on right now. Been trying to inspire people to do things and people can't even share the video. I'm afraid of getting made fun of on Facebook. Oh my God, really? Is that easy to deter you? You're afraid of what some brain-dead sheep are going to say? God. Talk about no balls. Okay. Tom Brady. He says goodbye to the Patriots. So it's coming all back to this. The symbolism of this. The man born in 77 on the 77th day of the year who came to power with the rigged NFL script. And again, just as dumb as coronavirus is just as dumb as the narrative of Tom Brady is. The NFL is a league of speed, strength, agility. Tom Brady has none of these qualities. He can throw a ball to a spot. Something probably at least, I would say what Tom Brady can do on a football field, there's probably at least 100,000 men in the United States who can do exactly what Tom Brady does, if not better. And that's a conservative estimate. It's probably a lot more than 100,000. There is nothing special about Tom Brady. He is the beneficiary of a script. It's why nobody can get to him. How can his offensive line protect him all day, every single day? This guy has no speed, no agility, no athleticism. He ran the slowest 40 time in the history of the NFL. It is a joke. He has the body of, a middle-aged, couch surfing dad. And he's had it since he was in his 20s. It is a joke. 9/11, Patriot Act, Patriots. Couldn't be any more obvious. It's the George Orwell quote. All it took to, control the masses was beer, football, and gambling. And don't forget, 1984 is the book. 84, United States of America 84, Masonry 84, Jesuit 84. He was a member of the Fabian Society George Orwell established in 1884. But anyway, Mr. 77, on the 77th day of the year, says he's leaving New England. The dynasty's coming to an end. As England is on lockdown. As the U.S., New England, is going into lockdown. Again, this is symbolism for a nation. Today has 40-date numerology, plus it's 17/3, like 173, the 40th prime. United States is 40 forwards, 77 in reverse. You couldn't get a more perfect day for the symbolism. Brady's a good Catholic boy. The nation's capital used to be the Catholic colony. We're on St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick, who helped convert people from worshiping on Saturday, the Sabbath day, to Sunday, the sun-worshiping pagan day. The other thing about today's date is it can be written 3/17, like 317. 317 is the 66th prime number. Empire is 66, just with the alphabetic order. Empire. And with Jewish Gematria, NFL is 66. 66, the 11th triangular number, the master number, 11 men on the field. From Brady's 8-3 birthday, remember football's 83, from his 8-3 birthday to today is his 228th day of his age, United States of America 228. What a day. What a day for a great U.S. ritual. And from today to his upcoming birthday is 139 days, America's 139. With the rules of numerology, it's 49, like NFL, like Scottish, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. American football is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp. St. Patrick's Day is also 49. You see how here we counted the span of days, so it's his 228th day of his age? If you didn't count the span, it would be 227 days after his birthday. 227 is the 49th prime number. So a major announcement in the NFL. on America Day, on United States of America Day. See how it works? Again, he gave those words of wisdom to Patrick Mahomes last year. He goes on to win the Super Bowl. We said then, watch St. Patrick's Day. All this stuff synced. NFL, nation. We've been expecting big things this year. Again, if you were on my Patreon, I told people at the end of December, I said, I got to stop the daily sports decoding because I said, I just feel it. There's big things coming right now. I got to really focus on the work to get it out there. I got to find new people. And a lot of new people think like, wow, your channel's really growing. No, it's not, you guys. My channel had way more subscribers in June of 2017. My channel's had way more subscribers in September of 2019. At my main channel, Gematria Effect News, has been deleted 3 times since September of 2019. Been deleted 3 more times. All for saying nothing but facts. I wonder if they're going to allow me to be on my 20th channel for all of 2020. If I didn't say so already, ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 227, which again is the 49th prime number. Again, Scottish is 49 in the same cipher. It's all math. The instruments of the Masons, compass, square, instruments of mathematics. The capital G for geometry. The capital G stands for God, the grand architect, the master geometer of the world. By the way, Brady's going to turn 43 years old, and football in that same cipher we're going to run it in reverse is 43. American football is credited to the Scottish Rite Freemason Walter Camp, who went to Yale. Yale's got the 43. And, their nickname's the Bulldogs, 43. So anyway, this is just such perfect symbolism. And realize, you could only have this type of ritual to be this exact if a person was chosen for this reason. They had the right birthday. So imagine, you got a group of, 100,000 men in the caliber of Tom Brady who can throw a football to a spot. You got the guy that's the right age, born on the right day. You've got everything planned out in advance. And again, they do, you guys. Things are planned out so far in this nation. I guarantee you they got Super Bowl, if we're going to make it that far, they got Super Bowl 74 scripted right now. I guarantee it. They probably got Super Bowl 94 scripted if we're going to make it that far. Remember, before 9/11 happened, before Bush won the White House, his administration, they were just a think tank, and they were called the Project for the New American Century, and they wrote a document called Restoring America's Defenses, and they called for a new Pearl Harbor so that they could invade the Middle East. And this was all written way before 9/11, which was referred to as the new Pearl Harbor. And remember, Pearl Harbor was December 7th, 127. In New York, buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell. And then they called it Ground Zero, which equals 127. And the only definition for Ground Zero was related to the Manhattan Project. It was the point above or below ground where a nuclear or atomic weapon explodes. World Trade Centers in Manhattan. A lot of fallout, a lot of sick people. A lot of unexplained disease and illness. The dots really aren't that hard to connect. Go back to last year when the Yankees were whooping up on the Red Sox in the UK. You had Jon Stewart getting all the attention for, championing the construction worker who was sick from the 9/11 fallout. Go back and revisit all. You want to talk about sports and news. It is sick what goes on in this world, man. I think they scored 50 runs, if I remember right, the Yankees in 2 games. Or maybe the combined score. That's what it was. The 2 teams combined for 50 runs. America equals 50, like 50 states. And oh yeah, in light of Brady being 42 years old right now and going on 43, Freemasons 42, going on 43, Masonic and football 43. Again, this comes 139 days from his 43rd birthday. Freemasonry 139, like America. They had to mention he played 20 seasons. Remember, season equals... No. Let me just show you. In the most pure cipher, seasons equals 20. Time equals 20. Cross equals 20. The cross here to represent the 4 seasons. Time. Notice time's got that 47 in it too, that special number. Just like the tropics of this earth, Cancer and Capricorn are 47 degrees apart. Sometime take the time to decode the gematria of major watchmakers. Tell me how many 47s and 74s you see. It's one of the first things I ever noticed when I learned about gematria. I just started to look at things like that. I was like, whoa, whoa, something is going on here. All right, now for the grand finale. The Bank of International Settlements. If you're not familiar, it's the most powerful bank in the world. The Bank of International Settlements, it's located in Switzerland, and I'm sure you know a thing or two about Swiss bankers. The World Health Organization is also in Switzerland. And this entire contrived pandemic, which really makes no sense if you just think about it, it's going to make a lot of money for the banks because they're going to sustain these economies. Well, at least they're going to try to, and whether they are successful or not, they're going to be owed a lot of money and interest. But notice they were established May 17th. That's the 137th day of the year. Again, government 137, authority 137. A lot of things. Washington, D.C., 137. Again, that's the 33rd prime. Masonry, secrecy, order, federal, all 33. Masonic symbolism all over world currencies. Notice they were established 89 years ago. Remember, the agenda is order out of chaos. With the alphabetic order, virus is 89. The word chaos with the reverse alphabetic order is also 89. See how virus and chaos are 89, 89, 46, 46, 26, 26? 89 years ago, the Bank of International Settlements established. And now they're giving us an unprecedented, supposedly global pandemic that really doesn't make any sense. It's just not adding up. Notice where their coordinates are. The 47th parallel? Interesting. The day they were established was a date with 71 numerology. Bank of International Settlements is 353 with the alphabetic order. That's the 71st prime. The next most powerful bank in the world after them is the Catholic Church. Catholic 71. And remember, Catholic Church, Knights Templar. After the Knights Templar were banned from France, when Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake, which began the superstition about Friday the 13th, the Knights Templar scattered to parts of the world. A lot of them became pirates. They say a lot of them also went to Switzerland, which would make a lot of sense, because just look at their flag. It's red with a white cross, whereas the Knights Templar, their symbol is the red cross. Anyhow, they're associated with the Catholic Church. Notice what else Bank of International Settlements equals. 119. That's an interesting one. Ancient mystery religions is 119, what they secured after the Crusades. We know who else likes the 119 number? The you-know-whos. Star of David's 119, Orthodox 119, Ashkenazi Jews 119, New Jersey's 119, where they were on the day of September 11th, 11/9 in the majority of the world, and the list goes on. They also have the 178 in their name. Kabbalah's 178. These are the exact things that the banker, occultist, tyrants use to control the world. Kabbalah, the ancient mystery religions, the church, government. It's all encoded in their date of establishment and name. And their location on the map. What are the odds? What are the odds? Again, the World Health Organization in Switzerland, in Geneva, established April 7th. April 7th. The same year as Israel, no less. Right now there's an article in Israel that they need to build the third temple to stop the coronavirus to bring about the Messiah. Pay attention to these things. It's all biblical. 4-7, 47th parallel, 47 degrees on the Masonic compass, as you know. Banks equals 47. The epicenter in the U.S., who's doing the biggest bailout right now, the epicenter is in Seattle on the 47th parallel. And if you haven't seen my older work on the Federal Reserve and when they set up their additional 12 branches, so it was 4/2/1914. So the Federal Reserve, if you haven't seen my work on the establishment of the Federal Reserve and the sinking of the Titanic, that's something you definitely need to check out. But then these dates that they came up with to set up their additional branches and the day they finished building those branches, well, when they finished building the branches, it was 47 weeks later. Think that's an accident from headquarters to the additional branches 47 weeks later, banks 47. And again, the biggest bank in the world, the Bank of International Settlements, up on the 47th parallel. It should be plain as day what is going on. The dollar bill in the U.S. has Masonic symbolism all over it. It's the one bill they never change. How many times have they updated our bills over the years? But they don't change the one that has all the Masonic symbolism, all the encoded stuff. And realize, the people who use this, they know that this knowledge has power. These symbols have power. These numbers have power. Does money not have power over people's minds? Is there anything that's more controlling? It's not an accident that they wrote, "In God we trust" on the dollar bill. Again, I'll show you something. In God we trust. God is 26, right? Dollar is 26. When I first began, if you're new here, the only ciphers I knew were these two, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. I saw this right away. God was 26 and dollar was 26. That's what I saw. And then years later, I learned reverse gematria, and I was like, wow, look at that. Bank is 26 in reverse. Just so many synchronicities. You see how bank is 80 as well? Think about this. Bavarian Illuminati is 188 and 80 on the U.S. dollar bill denominations. The 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. You add them all up, it equals 188. People always go, "Oh, Illuminati, that's stupid." Anybody who says that's just stupid, who makes that statement, is just a dumb person. The Bavarian Illuminati was established May 1st, 1776, just before the American Revolution. And there's a whole lot more to that. But remember, it was also established on 5/1. Adam Weishaupt who founded the Bavarian Illuminati, and the most pure cipher, his name is 51. And there's a million other things too. Again, we've done a lot of work on these things over the years. George Washington penned the letters that he was worried the Bavarian Illuminati had infiltrated and essentially taken over the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. And I guess I'll just show you one more thing real quick about that. Bavarian Illuminati, you see the 127? Buildings 1, 2, and 7, Pearl Harbor, getting us into wars, banks, debt. Look at Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. 127. Was it named for the takeover? Was it named for the takeover? You know what else? This date right here has 26 date numerology. Let's add it up. 1 plus 7 for the 17 is 8. Plus 5 for May is 13, right? So we have 13. And then we got 1 plus 9 plus 3 plus 0. That's 13 more. 13, 26. Bavarian Illuminati established with 13 families. So the Bank of the World established on a date with 26 numerology. You're just making it all up. Bank 26, dollar 26, God 26. Dollars are most people's God. I'm just making it all up. It all just falls into place every single corner you look. So anyway, let me get to the best part. I haven't gotten to the best part yet. So we see 65s all over the place, right? The Knights Templar flee to Switzerland. They're the world's original bankers. They have this knowledge of Kabbalah and the ancient mystery religions. They've captured the knowledge to control the world. You know, that when they went down there and captured this after the Crusades, they found out like, oh, this is what the emperors and pharaohs have been doing down here. This is what they're into. This is how they control their people. They went down there like, oh shit, man, these people built the most awesome stuff in the world. How are they doing it? People got the So anyway, they said, okay, let's take this good stuff. This must be how they do it. Well, now look. But anyway, Knights Templar, 65, like Switzerland, like Pandemic, like Year of the Rat. Again, Knights Templar, to be one, you have to be a Christian. In the same cipher, Christianity is 65. Christianity is also 79. Again, Society of Jesus is 79. That's the Jesuits, also connected to the Catholic Church. And again, Knights Templar, when you flip it around, 79. Remember, Knights Templar, 17/3. Today, I was watching this. I've been watching it since this weekend. When I was down on the streets of Seattle, shout out to Eric again. It was funny. The first two guys who came down to meet me were both named Eric this past Sunday, and they both came down on skateboards. One of them got there just in time to record that video of the guy grabbing me, the Fox News guy. But I thought it was funny. Both guys who show up are named Eric, and they both come down on skateboards. And the second guy came and he gave me $121, and he said he knew why. And I told I didn't want to take it from him, but he insisted I have it. And he also asked if I would look more at the Knights Templar angle. And I said, it's funny you asked me that because I've been thinking about it with all the 65s. And he's like, think about it, because the bank's there in Switzerland and the World Health. I was like, yeah, man, I think you are right. So as soon as he said that, I was waiting till today to cover this because I wanted to see if there was going to be big headlines about loans today. And there is. From the U.S. and the U.K. Done deal, you guys. Done deal. This is exactly what's going on March 17th. These huge banks getting these big loans. Giving out these big loans to these big old nations. By the way, it's headquartered in Basel, Switzerland. And somebody's going to say, you pronounce it Basel or something like that. You guys, I don't care about pronunciation really, but look at the Gematria, 39 and 33, like masonry, like secrecy, like federal, 96 like Freemason. I don't know what to do with the 12 right now. I'm sure there's a reason for it, especially since it's the most pure cipher. But I'm slipping on that one right now. I see the rest of it. And here's another good one. Bill Gates, January 22nd, 2017. Where's he at? He's in Davos, Switzerland, talking about... I'm going to play this clip so you can just hear this. I mean, just realize this was 3 years to the day. And this is one of many things he said in the last decade, just giving this all away. But this was 3 years to the day of the film Pandemic coming out, starring him talking about what's going on right now. And this was, again, that film came out one day after the first case was found in Seattle. And months earlier, he'd done the simulation of the coronavirus outbreak. And then 3 weeks after that, he'd done the next pandemic predicting this. And just listen to this, man. Actually, before we listen, look at the gematria of where he was. Davos, Switzerland, 212 like Seattle, Washington. 68 like Seattle, Washington. 94 like Seattle, Washington. Wuhan, 68. And just in case Deborah Horn's out there, Deborah Horn of Cairo 7 News interviewed me on Sunday. She interviewed Team Truth. She talked to Big Al first. Shout out to Big Al. In case you guys don't know, there were multiple people who traveled from other states to be with us this past weekend to get the word out. We had a gentleman fly up from Los Angeles. We had 3 people fly up from Arizona. 4 people came from out of state to be with us. Impressive, because between Friday and Sunday, I would say there was at least 30 people who gathered. And 4 of them came from out of state. And one of those people had never even heard about this until she passed us on the street Friday. Shout out to Claudia if she's out there. Claudia walked by. She said, what's going on? We started to explain it to her. It clicked right away. She understood it. She said she was working. She said she'd come back if she could. She was back in an hour later. She came back with her own sign. She even showed up on Sunday, you know? And she hadn't even heard about this before Friday. But anyway, if you saw the interview we did with Deborah Horn of Cairo 7 News, she came out and talked to us on the corner about what we were up to. Look at her name, Gematria. This is a Seattle news anchor who's been on the air since 91. I have a feeling that she doesn't even know that this is true about her. But this, again, you decode the names and people you see in the media, you see how they have the right numbers. Deborah Horn is 68, just like Seattle, Washington. You know about 9/11 in 1968. Don't forget the construction firm that built the World Trade Centers is from Seattle, Washington. But, this is probably exactly why she's picked to be a big news anchor in Seattle. Her name's also 113, the mainstream number. She was a very mainstream person. 211, the 47th prime. News, 47. And then the last number was 58. Well, we know all about that, right? So, but anyway, Davos, Switzerland is the exact same as Seattle, Washington in 3 of the 4 ciphers. It's got the 68 like Wuhan. Bill Gates, 3 years to the day on January 22nd. Let's not forget Seattle's on the 122nd meridian. Let's not forget Satanic's 122. Let's not forget this is a satanic agenda that mocks the Bible. Let's listen to Bill Gates and what he said on this day, exactly 3 years to the day of the release of Pandemic releasing, and pretty much the beginning point of this contrived pandemic in the world. Listen.
I think
an epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most.
What? An epidemic naturally or intentionally caused? Let's listen to it one more time.
I think an epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say.
Does this man look uncomfortable while he's speaking? Why does he look so uncomfortable? Let's watch again. Does he look comfortable at all?
I think an epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. And that it's pretty surprising how little preparedness there is for it.
I mean, he doesn't look comfortable. And, if you think he looks comfortable, compare the way he talks. He doesn't have somebody like yanking at the back of his arm and pulling on his camera strap from behind him. I can talk more comfortably on the street in a location where I just nearly got arrested 2 days earlier, than this guy can without any of these same distractions. Why does he look so uncomfortable? Again, I think people like Bill Gates are puppets on strings. And just in case the woman from Green Lake somehow finds this video, just yesterday when I was at Green Lake, I was talking to a gentleman like this. He was right here, and I was talking to him, and I had two signs, and I was holding them out so people coming from both ways could read them. And I was talking to this man about what was on the signs, and he was asking good questions, and I was probably talking to him for like 10 minutes at least. And it's nice when somebody stops to talk, because then other people just stop in the background and start listening. So a lot of people come by were listening in that period of time. But while I was doing that, while I'm looking this way, a woman comes from this side, from over here, and she screams at me. She goes, "You're crazy, and Bill Gates is a hero." And I was already talking to the guy when she did that, right? And think about it. She's calling me crazy while I'm talking calmly and explaining things to people that are real. And I look at her, and I said, "Why would you say that about me?" How do you think she responded? She just turned around and walked away. Didn't say anything else. And again, I mean, she's a programmed American, right? They always call us crazy, but what's the real crazy behavior? To just come up somebody's blind side while you're already talking to somebody and scream at them? That's crazy behavior. And then she didn't defend her point of view. I asked her calmly back. I said, "Why am I crazy? Why would you say that?" No response. Zero. I'm asking kind of a rhetorical question. I know why she thinks that. She's in Seattle. Bill Gates, to some people, is just this great, brilliant man. It's like I had a woman come up also at Green Lake yesterday, and she goes, "Well, Bill Gates, he's a very smart person, and maybe he just had the foresight, and he got this information out there because he sensed that this was about to happen." And I said, "Okay, I'll acknowledge that's possible. Some people do have great instincts. He didn't become a billionaire by accident," but I said, "Don't you also see the suspicious side of this? Don't you see how he stands to profit from this? He's invested in these vaccines. If there ends up being a global vaccine for this, he's going to gain a lot from this." I said, people need to think about how we live in a world, how it's possible for 50 people to have as much wealth as 270 million. I said, to me, it seems like there has to be a lot of manipulation of a populace to accumulate that much concentrated wealth. I said, that you can only do that through government and policies and laws and making sure cash flows to certain groups of people and not other people. That's what this whole thing's going to do. It's going to put out small people and small business owners who are going to be absolutely screwed. And, somebody out there's like, "Well, Bill Gates' stocks are falling right now, so his net worth's falling." Yeah, but realize they have it all on scale. They know that, they'll just ride out the storm. They're not, he's not going to lose his compound and all of his wealth. Eventually it will scale back up. Plus, he'll have this, he'll have gained this market. And all these people get put out. That's what happens every time a recession happens or a collapse. The rich are the only one left with resources. They come and buy up even more stuff. Even more stuff. Watch, eventually we'll live in a world where 10 people have as much wealth as like the rest of the world combined. If it's not already that way. Here, let's just listen to the rest of this guy talk, though.
Now, it's tricky because this is a global problem. So, how do countries work together? Which countries should put up what resources? And, every aspect of it, the resources to go engage in the affected countries, the allocation decisions. As we've seen various flu scares come along, we haven't had a super good response. So the paradigmatic examples are smallpox for an intentionally caused thing, that there was a simulation called Dark Winter that didn't come out very well.
Dark Winter, a simulation that didn't come out very well. Let's take a look. Dark Winter, 123, 51, and 47, huh? I know something that looks just like that. Conspiracy. The exact same is Dark Winter. Another simulation of an outbreak. The 66 is interesting because, again, Empire 66. Corona alone, 66. All right, let's keep it going.
Smallpox scored 1 and humanity scored 0. Flu epidemics, where,
I mean, he's like talking about like things that are supposedly global disasters, like smiling and gimmicky about it. I mean, again, you have to remember his father was into eugenics. He's into eugenics. He's talking about how we need to reduce the population by 15%. I mean, I kind of feel like the pot calling the kettle black a little bit. I'm all for overthrowing the psychopaths, but sometimes I think we need to reduce the population by about 95%. These people I meet on the street, to me, it's like, you guys are a real burden to humanity. You guys need to be flushed down the toilet with all this coronavirus toilet paper. Hold on.
I always talk about the potential occurrence of a 1917 Spanish flu problem, and then Ebola, which, although it was much smaller, there was some luck involved in that because it wasn't spread through respiratory contact. The reproductive rate was a lot lower, and it was basically people who were sick or dead who were doing most of the transmission. And so through a lot of heroic effort and a little bit of luck, it stayed under control and was largely contained to the 3 countries. Zika is still recent enough that the understanding of, okay, should we have seen it sooner? Even understanding what the steady state case looks like in terms of immunogenicity, why it showed up in South America and didn't show up in...
I just got to interrupt. The whole Ebola and Zika thing was all news by the numbers. By the way, Zika's 47. I think they said Zika was discovered in 1947, or was it 1847? It was one of the two. But, and again, the Ebola and Zika were both 33 shows, just like this has been a 33 show. You learn this code, you just see how all of the stories that come out, it's all contrived crap. Remember that Nurse Nina fam with the Ebola thing? It's all garbage. It's all propaganda. That's why he's struggling. So he's like, they could have, we don't really know. I mean, it's because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's why he can't really explain it. The world's most brilliant man. I would love to debate Bill Gates. I honestly think Bill Gates is a dummy. That's why I've always thought he's a puppet. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, how can this guy be the smartest guy? Anytime you watch this guy speak, it's not impressive. There's nothing that stands out about him. It's not that all brilliant people are great speakers, but there's just nothing that stands out about this guy. He just seems like another guy born into the throne. If you read about Bill Gates, his dad had a lot of resources. They say he was in the right place at the right time. He got put in front of this supercomputer that only, the university had up here at the time. Him and Paul Allen. And Paul Allen, who was kind of like his older mentor, seems to really be the real computer guy. They say Bill Gates is Mr. Contracts. And just think about his company, Microsoft. What is Microsoft really known for? Mediocre products that crash all the time, that are more complicated to use than they really should be? I mean, and why do they have such a monopoly? Like, if we're in capitalism, I feel like Microsoft should have been beat off the marketplace 20 years ago. Their stuff sucks. People don't realize that most of these tech companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, the majority of their money doesn't come through the things that you're used to them for, like Windows operating and Microsoft Word and selling shit. And no, the majority of their money comes through government contracts, building like giant databases and surveillance systems and technology to track people. That's how these companies make the majority of their money, from government contracts. That's why I'm pretty sure they are actually just government agencies masquerading as, private companies. Fascism.
Africa, I know people are hard at work trying to answer these questions. So the lessons from that one, I'm not trying to minimize that one at all, but I think they're less clear than from Ebola. I think it's too bad in a way that we had to have these epidemics to get us to move, but the timing in terms of the science, the recognition that epidemics don't respect borders, and so whether you're looking at this through a humanitarian lens or a purely domestic lens, these are investments that should be made. I think this is a very positive step.
Okay. And I forgot to mention that 212, that's also the New York area code. Again, right now, Seattle and New York, they're the two big breakout areas for this supposed coronavirus outbreak. But I think, let me see, do I have any more slides to cover? Oh, yeah. So today, the you-know-who Treasury Secretary, he came out and pitched an idea for an $850 billion stimulus package for the economy. 85 are the key digits there. Notice Templar's 85, Knights Templar is 173, like 17/3. This is exactly what I was waiting to see if it would happen today. This right here. They posted at 9:03 a.m. Remember, Wuhan, coronavirus 93. A lot of predictive programming from 93, including the Simpsons episode, which came out on May 6th. Margin chains. Coronavirus 56. Margin chains 121, which reminds of the band Alice in Chains. Anyway. It's just sick, you guys. It's just sick. It makes me sick that these people get away with what they get away with. I gotta admit, I'm impressed by my neighbors across the street. One is a federal judge, and he must be the black sheep of federal judges. And his wife's a school teacher. Yesterday, he saw me. He was outside when I was pulling up from Seattle. My car, he goes, "Hey, Zach, are you self-quarantining?" And I laughed, and I said, "Well, I'm pretty much doing the exact opposite." He goes, "What have you been up to?" I said, "Well, I was just down in Seattle exposing this whole coronavirus thing because I think it's a big scam. And I think the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have a lot to do with it." He goes, "Oh, really?" He goes, "I kind of feel like there's something very wrong, too. It's not making sense." And he said that they just shut down the courts up here. And he said yesterday he just had a big meeting, and he was the only one arguing that they shouldn't shut down the courts, and he thought it seemed all ridiculous. So I was like, oh, that's cool, man. My neighbor might be a judge across the street. I'm not honestly the biggest fan of judges. But I got to admit, every time I've talked to this guy, he listens and he gets it. So he reminds me that you can't paint broad strokes on anything. And his wife's a school teacher, so she's being paid to be out of work right now. But they were both saying the same thing, that this whole thing's just so overblown and so ridiculous, and it seems like it's all media hype. But just look, that's all it takes. Those people across the street are not like the average American. I mean, I was just in Seattle, and a lot of people did get it in Seattle. But then when I was like in uppity... See, this is what I see in society, and I think a lot of people know it. When I was in Green Lake, which is the north end of Seattle, where there's more money and more educated white people, a lot of college degrees and master's degrees and doctorates. You got to have good money to live in that area of town. These people, they think they know everything. They think anything that comes through the news, they're in these professions. They think all this stuff is just so legitimate. This is where all the legitimate stuff is. Most of these people at Green Lake, they just got their nose up at you. They're not listening to anything. They're snickering at you. You ask them, have you heard about Event 201? They wave you off and say, I'm not into conspiracy crap. They're walking away from me. I'm like, it's not a conspiracy. It's a real event. You can look it up. Yeah, whatever. It's like, oh, wow. Man, you guys are just the shining example of why we should all go get college educations. And realize I have a college education. I have a master's myself, but I'm the same type of person who didn't want to get any of it. I already saw through all the bullshit. I did it to appease my mother, made mama happy. But, oh boy, we got a new NBA test. Now we got a Brooklyn Nets player. Of course, Brooklyn, New York. Sorry, there's a breaking headline right now. Just get interrupted my thought, but I'm like, okay, who has it now? Well, Brooklyn, New York got that 74. I'll look more at that one later. So anyway, these are all number games, and I think we're dead on. And oh, by the way, Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, his full name is 266. Again, we're saying this all goes back to the Catholic Church, Jesuits, Knights Templar. Remember, the Jesuit motto in Latin sums to 266. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. Again, there's the prophecy about the 266th Pope and it being the end of the world as we know it. Revelation 121. Did a long video on this maybe 3-4 weeks back. But that Jesuit motto is also 122 like Pope Francis. Like the date pandemic came out, January 22nd. So, what do you know? And Steve Mnuchin, he kind of reminds me of the Supreme Court because it's all Catholic and Jewish. He's Jewish. He's got the Jesuit fingerprints in his name. We got good old Catholic Tom Brady up there as the symbol. All right, you guys, I've presented everything I need to say. Of course, the market's a major roller coaster. Let's see. Up, down. But it seems like each time it feels farther and further down than it goes up. Again, been telling you guys since 2015. Very likely Trump's the next president. The House of Cards president, the Trump card, the casino manager. When he was announced as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall in the early hours of November 9th, I said, there's the symbolism. I put out a video in the middle of that night. I said, we will see an event that collapses the economy under Trump. This is a sick joke. House of Cards, Donald Trump, casino manager, Mr. Bank Bailout, Mr. Failed Businesses. Sick joke. And just one of many correct predictions by understanding this information. Remember, Trump's number 45, Berlin Wall is 45. He was announced as the 45th president-elect in the early hours of November 9th, 119, the fall of the Berlin Wall. A few weeks ago, we talked about when the market set a new record, falling 1,190 points in the day, 119. So, if anybody wants to call in, the number is 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. If anybody else has any more information, happy to look into it or anything you want to share. If anybody wants to call in and explain why they can't donate $1, I'd be happy to hear that as well. I'm trying to figure out how I got to connect with you guys to get you to support this movement so we can hire more people, get the building, travel more, pound the pavement more. For all of you guys who like the video about me confronting Fox News, that can happen a lot more if we have resources to travel. It's just a matter of being in the spots where the media are. And that's what I'm talking about, you guys. If we can get to where the media is, we can do that type of thing. Confront them on the set, When they start having the Democratic and Republican debates, assuming they're not going to keep us all in our homes all throughout the year, anytime that you know where the location of the debate is, all the media is set up. All those nightly shows, they're all there. Perfect opportunities for acts of civil disobedience. Imagine Anderson Cooper on set doing his nightly propaganda. Bust in there live on the show. Start talking about rigged elections. Make them shut down the whole broadcast. Make them go to commercial. Do it in mass numbers. If we have enough resources, we can afford bail. You know what I mean? So, again, without the resources, we can't make as much happen. And it's strange that nobody's called. Oh, I know why nobody. My fault, you guys. I know why nobody's calling in. I'm sorry. The phone's on airplane mode. I was like, wow, I can't believe nobody's called in. Okay, sorry. There we go. Airplane mode's off. My fault. I apologize. What's up, caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Man, man. Baltimore.
Good to hear your voice. I'm glad you're the first caller. What's going on?
Man, likewise, man. I appreciate you. Just had a couple things to add on to what you were breaking down. Idris, I wanted to add on, equals, just Idris, the first name itself equals 76. It said that he had the coronavirus on the 76th day of the year.
Right.
So that was, it was just very clear. Same thing with Charles Barkley. Charles by itself, just the first name equals 123. And he was said to have the coronavirus on March 12th, or the 12th of March.
I did not. Charles Barkley supposedly has it?
Yeah, well, they said that he was self-quarantining himself until he found out for sure that he was going to, if he had it or not. So to be honest, I haven't heard the indefinite that he had, but they definitely said something about...
They made a news story. They made a news story by the numbers. Idris is 59 and 76, just like Negro. And again, it had 59 date numerology, plus it was the 76th day of the year. Unbelievable,
exactly.
Man.
Exactly, and then the 32 with the Scottish that you were breaking down as well.
So what do you think the odds of that being a coincidence are?
Man, 0 to none, man. That's coincidence. That's
I can't tell you how many people I talked to on the street who just thought all these things could just be coincidence, man. It just kills me. It's like, what's wrong with these people?
Absolutely crazy, man. Couple more Today, of course, is a Tuesday. As you know, Tuesday comes from Marday, meaning Mars, the god of war. So you have a lot of competition, a lot of people seeking power today, the 77th day of the year. They're seeking the power. I thought that was interesting. What else? Oh, there was a thing on Google yesterday where supposedly, check this, the Wu-Tang Clan is giving tips on the coronavirus. Well, when they wrote it down as in terms of the tips that they were given, I'm not sure if you know, but Wu-Tang, they always say would equal witty, unpredictable talent and natural gain. Well, the way that they wrote it on this news article was Wu-Tan and not Wu-Tang. So they dropped the G.
Made it like Wuhan.
Like Wuhan, exactly.
I'm trying to think about the song that they got from years ago. I think it's on a Jizza album, but there's some lyrics about the Ebola virus or the reign of King Cyrus. About you can see the weakness of a man right through his iris.
Right through his iris, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, they have a little kind of an acronym. So the W is wash your hands, U is use masks properly, T is touch nothing, A is avoid large crowds, and N is never touch your face with unclean hands. So yeah, that's just crap. But found something interesting as well. The number 91. I'm not sure. You might have to inform me a little bit on that.
91's the 13th triangular number, so it relates to 13, and 13's a big number of the Scottish Rite.
Gotcha. I knew you would know. The interesting thing that I found out about 91 is that 91 equals 121, and it also equals 121. Also, for the 121, back to that, if you add up the days of January, February, March, and April, they equal to be 121 days. Wow. If we add on 6 more days to that equals 127. The reason I said add on 6 more days to that, because if you remember, I called in the other day and I was talking about how if they did 56 days from March 11th, it would be exactly May 6th.
Right.
I think you brought up that May 6th was the exact same day that they had brought out the Simpsons episode Marge and Chains. Mm-hmm. Well, Marge and Chains equals 121 and also 77. Just super deep. Also, that third installment of those Kingsman movies that I was talking about, right. The third one that's going to come out this year. The Kingsman itself, that's the subtitle of the movie, Kingsman 3, the Kingsman, that also equals 121. I do want you to check out this guy, man, just as a heads up. This guy named Anthony Patch. I saw his mini video inside of another guy's video this week, a guy called Papa Duck. A really heavy video that he dropped because he talked about how this coronavirus thing, and I don't know if it's true or not, I'm just repeating what the guy said, but I thought it was very interesting. I want you to, kind of tell me your thoughts on it. But basically he said that the whole thing with the coronavirus immunization itself is for them to give us a third DNA, and said that this DNA that they will put into your body is basically like a DNA modifier, or it just changes your whole DNA altogether, and it makes it so that you basically can't make conscious decisions for yourself at all anymore. You'll basically just be a walking slave, basically. Almost a zombie, so to speak.
I mean, there's no way I can verify that that's what they're going to do, but it wouldn't surprise me. It seems like that's what they want, a total slave race that's just totally indoctrinated. Yep. They want to get rid of people like us. They want to get rid of the people that can still think for themselves. So, I mean, I would say it's entirely possible, and that's exactly why we got to do something about it. I don't want I obviously do not want their vaccine for their contrived bullshit.
Right on. Right on, man. Yeah. I guess I do have a couple more things. I won't take up too much of your time, man. I did think it was interesting, though. The lady, I do believe that that lady that you were talking to in Seattle, there's definitely a reason why they hired her. Like you say, I think it has a lot to do with her name. The name Deborah itself comes from the Hebrew Testament book of Judges, and it talks about how Deborah is the heroine of the prophetess who leads the Israelites when they are threatened by the Canaanites. She forms an army under the command of Barak, and together they destroyed the army of the Canaanite commander Sisera. So, yeah, there's definitely a reason why they hired her. I think it's definitely either her name or her birthday or both. And I'll leave you this last thing. It's kind of going back to the Margin Change thing. That Simpsons episode was really deep, as you know, very serious, because they talked about kind of like obviously a coronavirus, but also like they called it the Osaka flu. Osaka flu equals 86. They said they were finding a vaccine, and that vaccine would have been found in 6 to 8 weeks later. And they also showed, when they, because Marge was supposedly stealing from the Quickie Mart, they showed her height inside of the Quickie Mart, and she was supposed to be 8 feet 6 inches tall, because Marge has that real tall blue hair or whatever. So it's like they stamped 86 all over that, all over that episode. I just thought that was
Well,
neat, man. But
I'm checking this right now in real time. I'm pretty sure coronavirus outbreak equals, it does equals 86 in the most pure cipher.
wow.
And it's 121 in reverse, like how Margin Change is 121.
Exactly, man. But yeah, that's all I got, Zach, man. As always, appreciate you, man. You were awesome in Seattle. I thought you were going to steal that guy beside his head, man. But
well, in a better world, I would have, man.
Put his hands on you,
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You got it, man.
All right, take care.
Take care, man. Good to hear from you.
Caller?
Hi, is this Zach?
It is.
Hi, I wanted to ask you if you were looking into the Mayweather death that just happened.
Floyd Mayweather's ex?
Yeah, his uncle, Roger Mayweather, dead at 58.
Oh, so his ex just died now, and his uncle?
Yeah.
I didn't realize his uncle died, but I mean, I already see what's going on with the 58. I'll do more research on it, but again, he announces he's coming back to boxing, and then his ex is dead, and now his uncle, huh? Crazy.
It's insane.
So that's today's news.
I told my mom in the midst of all this coronavirus chaos that I was going to print your book out and start reading it.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So, yeah, I'm going to have to look more at that one and find out what his uncle... I don't know if his uncle was a fighter, but, yeah. Yeah, not a coincidence. We already know what's up with the 58, so...
Well, cool. Thank you. Thank you for talking with me. It was nice. It was nice talking with you.
You're very welcome. And just one thing to point out before you go. I just realized that Mayweather's born in 77 like Tom Brady, and these are two of the biggest names in sports. So Brady makes a big announcement today. And, again, born in 77, 77th day of the year. So I'll look more at it. I appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up.
It's insane, dude. Thank you. Thank you for doing the work that you do.
You're welcome. You take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Remember, Secret Society's 58 forwards and 77 in reverse. Like, go ahead, caller. You're on. Caller, you got to mute your video.
Talking about Mayweather uncle.
Yeah, somebody tipped me off. Can you mute your video? Can you mute your video and talk to me?
What's that?
Yeah, just mute your video on. All right, you sound good now.
All right. Yeah, you need to talk about Mayweather uncle dying, man.
I just found out about it. The last caller just tipped me off. So he was 58. Today's the 77th day of the year. He's born in 77. Secret Society equals 58 and 77. I see today's 22 days after his birthday. Master Builder number, another Mason number. So I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it. I bet you this is synced up with whatever day his next fight is. Plus, like how we just talked about with his ex dying. So I got to do some more research on it. But I just found out from the last caller. So I appreciate it.
All right. All right, Jack.
All right, thanks, man. Take care.
All right.
Caller?
Yeah, what's up, Zach? I just had a Z call on Floyd's uncle real fast.
I'm listening. Perfect.
He was a fighter for sure. He actually was 59 and 13 for his total career.
Did you say? Wait. Did you say he was 59 and 13?
Yes, sir. 59 and 13.
So again, just to again remind people what that number means. We just had it up on the screen with Idris Elba, Negro, Slave, Blues, Rasta. They all equal 59. Number stamped all over Black history.
Yep.
And let me just put it on the screen while you talk about it. And Idris Elba just supposedly came down with coronavirus on the 59 date numerology. So okay, you got the floor. Go ahead.
Yep. And another one that equals 59, the big one, Black Mamba.
Yep. And Calabasas 59. Right. Yep. Calabasas. Yep.
Yep. Roger Mayweather was known as Black Mamba as well. And that's funny because Floyd Mayweather's birthday is February 24th, 224, like the
day of the anniversary. Yeah.
And his daughter.
And now it's 22 days later, and basketball's 22 as well. So yeah, there's probably a connection between these things.
Yep, and then check this out. If you add today's date, it's 23 days, and Black Mamba equals 23 and 4 reduction as well. And then Roger Mayweather died 47 weeks after his birthday, exactly 329 days, 47 weeks exactly to the day after his previous birthday, and it was 38 days to his upcoming birthday, which is on the 24th of April. So another 24th connection to the Black Mamba and Kobe and Floyd and there was one more thing.
His name got faithful. So Roger Mayweather equals 83 in the most pure cipher, which is the 23rd prime.
83,
Yep, and it's 22 days after his birthday, Floyd's, or his 23rd day of his age. So on his 23rd day of his age, he loses his uncle, Roger Mayweather. And and you know what else? Roger Mayweather's 79, which is the 22nd prime. So either way, it makes sense. 22 days after the birthday or his 23rd day of his age.
Yeah, man, that's why I was trying to call in. But he's at 223 as well. So Roger had a few numbers coded on him. But I wouldn't be surprised if they said he died from corona. Don't be surprised if that comes out because there's no cause of death right now. But a few years ago, I remember Floyd was in the news basically saying that Roger had dementia or something. He didn't really say he had dementia, but he said his brain, he said he was in his 50s, but his brain was actually in his 80s, basically, because he's been a fighter for so long. But, so I wouldn't be surprised if they said he had corona, but I don't know what they're going to say the cause of death is, actually.
To add to your decode, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is also 83 in the most pure cipher, again, the 23rd prime, so...
Floyd's making a comeback, and his ex is dead, and his uncle's dead within a week, so I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here, Zach.
He has a child named Zion, too. Did you know that?
Yep, I knew that, yep.
Crazy.
Yep, everything's by the book with these elite,
Indeed. Well, great work, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Take care.
I'm definitely trying to get part of the team, Zach. Definitely trying to get part of the coaching team when they get it off the ground.
You're a great member, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm already a supporter, bro. But yep,
Keep it up. All right, take care. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Hey, it's Jericho again. Hey, is it okay if I talk about water real quick?
Does it? Okay. I mean, I don't know what you're going to say about water. Does it have to do with what we're talking about?
No, I'll hang up, man. I'll hang up.
All right. Take care, man. Caller?
Hey, how you doing, Zach?
What's up, man?
How you doing? It's Mike from PA. Hey, first off, just continue your work, man. I follow you heavily. I've been following you since you first set foot on YouTube. You're doing great work. I just wanted to ask you: Are you aware of the scandal that's supposedly popping off behind the scenes and across Hollywood and corporate America? So the word on the street is that right now that one of the many reasons for what we're witnessing is a smokescreen for a huge bust that's taking place across corporate America, where all these CEOs are stepping down at the same time, and all these celebrities and high-profile people are announcing that they supposedly have virus, and that it's actually a cover-up for them being caught up and implicated in the scandal with child sex, pornography, pedophilia, money laundering, and a whole bunch of other things, as well as the Italy being shut down for the Vatican being investigated. So the whole Corona thing is supposedly a smokescreen for all these events.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt and say I know it's not that. That's not the way the world works, man. These people are going to continue to child sex traffic and do all their evil stuff. They're not going to shut down the whole world for justice. These people aren't about justice. No. I mean, that sounds like some Q crap, honestly. So, no, that's garbage right there. I mean, that's definitely not what's going on.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you if you had heard about it.
Yeah, no, that's bad information. Who's ever putting that out? I can guarantee you that.
Alrighty.
All right, man. Take care. What's up, caller?
Hey, Jack. What's up, man? It's John from Philly.
What's
How
up,
you
man?
doing, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hello?
Yeah, you're wrong.
I just wanted to say, I couldn't believe how scripted everything continues to be when you put out this work. When they said about Tom Brady, today's St. Patrick's Day, and part of his name is Patrick. So
Right.
how can people not have their eyes open when this stuff happens? St. Patrick's Day, Tom Brady has his name Patrick in it. How obvious can they?
Right.
People be blind to see all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's a big mocking. It's just like when Patrick, I can't remember what late night talk show he did at the time, but it was before last season began. But Patrick Mahomes went on one of the late night talk shows and talked about how Tom Brady gave him some good tips for the upcoming season, and there was headlines like, "Is Brady passing on the torch to Patrick Mahomes?" It's just people are brain dead to not see what's going on, and they're under mind control and all sorts of other things. It's just like everything that they do to us is just so obvious. And you got to not want to see it to not see it. So
yeah, it's a shame that people are not waking up, especially when you were down in Seattle. I saw the Fox News people try to bully you out, try to pull you away from the camera and stuff, because they don't want nobody to get, especially you're outside of Bill Gates and Melinda's place and all that stuff. They don't want you to be out there promoting this stuff, and it's a shame that they wait for a big catastrophe to hit themselves. Then they'll finally wake up, and you're trying to wake us up before all that occurs. And it's a shame that nobody wants to donate, or you have trouble having people donate, or even trying to push this work out there so we can avoid us being killed. And that's essentially what you're trying to avoid, us from being slaved or whatever the government or the Masonic people have planned for us. And it's sad that it's so hard for you or all of us to get this stuff out there that we need to get out there.
indeed, man, I'm really disappointed in the people who followed over the years, who've witnessed how much content I put out, how much information. And for all of you who don't want to take the time to learn this information, I'm going to tell you a real story. One of the gentlemen who flew up this week from Arizona, you guys recognize his voice, Al. If you watch the video of the Cairo 7 interview, you could see the bottom of Al's chin. He was talking to Deborah before I did. But he flew up this weekend. He got a rock bottom rate, and on Saturday, I wasn't in town Saturday, so he just sat back in his hotel room and he chilled and he bet on the UFC games, understanding the rig knowledge. He made nearly $2,000 in his hotel room through his phone, just betting on the rig games, and he's doing that weekend after weekend. You guys can pick up my book for $5, read it like he did, learn the knowledge, and go out and do the same thing. All he did was decoded the location of the event, Brazil, and he said, oh, here's the numbers of Brazil. Let me see how that fits into the fighters' names and what their record could be. Oh, here's how I'm putting my parlays together today. And he's not making big bets. It's not like he bet $2,000. He had like $150 in bets that were out there. So at the most, he would have lost $150. Makes nearly $2,000. He's doing this weekend after weekend. Anyone can do this with this knowledge. The reason he came up to support me is because, like he said, I've helped change his life through this knowledge. He now has extra money to afford to do things. I'm asking you guys to support for $1. If you sign up for my Patreon page right now, you can get the book for $1. Deal of a lifetime. Type of knowledge you can make thousands of dollars with on the weekend, literally. Not some scheme or some bogus advertisement. Facts. There's so many people in this world who've made so much and bragged about it off the knowledge I put out. Where are you guys at to finance this campaign right now? And for all the people saying, well, why don't you go do it? Well, maybe I will go do that. Maybe I'll just say, fuck all of you. I'll go move down to Vegas. I'll just gamble full time. I can't gamble in my state. I got feds that already watch me. I'm not trying to get in any more trouble.
Right.
So
I'm a supporter of you, Zach. I'm on Patreon, and I just want to reiterate to get people to wake up, man. I really want people to wake up to see this stuff, because I have children, like I told you before. I don't want my kids to be destroyed by the way these crooked people are, man. Have to worry about an outbreak and all this mockery that you do to us. I don't want that to happen. My kids are still young, and I don't want to have to have them suffer through all this stuff. If we can change it, you know what I'm saying?
indeed. That's my whole thing. I didn't have kids, but that's my whole thing. I mean, you got to make the world a better place. This isn't a place for children to be born into.
Right.
So.
But I support you, Zach, and I'm going to keep following you and do the best I can to try to get this stuff out there, even though I get mocked and laughed at, saying, oh, this is all coincidences. If you keep looking, they always say, if you keep looking for something, you're gonna find something that can match up, especially when you have the numbers and when you throw out numbers to them and words and stuff like that. Like I was just telling somebody about the Bill Gates and stuff. they were like, oh, you're full of shit and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, man. How dumb can you be? Like,
Well, I'll tell you how dumb they can be. There was a kid who came up to us in Seattle who looked like he was a cattle already. He had the piercing through the nose, so I could have just yanked him around by his nose. He's a total doofus. And I was explaining to him about the Bill and Melinda Gates simulation, and he just started doing that thing with his facial expression and rolling his eyes. And he's like, don't you just think it's all a bunch of coincidence? And I was like, no, I don't think that. I think people use that word too much. And he's like, how do you even figure this out anyway? And I was like, well, it goes back to 9/11. I said, how old are you? He goes, I'm 23. So I was like, okay, so this was back when you were a baby when 9/11 happened. He goes, I remember 9/11 really well. I'm like, okay, you were like 4 years old. I'm sure you have a great fucking memory of it. But anyway, so I started talking about it, and he's like, I knew somebody who died on 9/11. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, I also know somebody who has the coronavirus. I was like, okay, so you're the only person out here we met today that knows somebody who had the coronavirus. You also know somebody who died at 9/11. You think everything's a coincidence. So I just saw what kind of tool he was, and I made a joke about he probably knew somebody who died on the Hindenburg too, and I just walked away from him. Because, I mean, just some people, it's just like, okay, this guy's just full of shit. He just has the condescending, schmuck attitude. And these people aren't open to information. They're just in automatic dismissal mode.
The problem is that unless it happens to them, if it affects them directly, like some harm actually happens to them, that's when they're going to wake up. And then by then it'll probably be too late. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think a lot of these people who lie to themselves, they also like to make themselves part of the lie. I can't tell you how many people who've been denying the things that I've taught about 9/11 over the years, and they say, I know somebody who died in 9/11, and then you question them, and then they don't even have a direct response. Well, I know a person who knew a person. It's just like, and it's not to say that people didn't die in 9/11, but it's just always the same type of shit. It's like they're dismissing what you're saying. They think they're dismissing the evidence you're showing by saying something like, I knew somebody who died on 9/11. It's like, okay, does that go against what I just taught you about the rituals on that day? So.
Right, exactly. It's sad. But I support you, my friend, and I keep going, man. I hope you don't stop making videos. I know it's just it gets disappointing when you have to write your book and people are not supporting you, doing what they need to do, but I hope you don't. But I'm going to try to push stuff out there for you as well, your videos and stuff like that, because this stuff is getting serious every day. That our lives are being changed, and right now, look, we're about possibly martial law and all that bullshit. We don't want to. We have to wake up and try to do something about this stuff, man. And I support you, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support. You have a good day.
You too, buddy.
All right, take care, man. Caller?
Zach, hello, it's me from yesterday. That's cool. I found a channel that has your oldest videos. The videos where you're on a whiteboard, where you're doing it on a whiteboard, and you haven't discovered the reverse method yet. And the channel's called allfortruth.com. It doesn't have all videos. Some of them are deleted.
So they just have some of the older videos, okay.
But most of them. Zenith Alpha of America made a playlist.
Okay, I'll check that out. I appreciate that.
Alright, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you got to mute the video. You're on.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, what's up?
So, I just want to ask you a question about. So, I'm a new follower, and this was one of the things that kind of clicked for me immediately. Gematria, the practice of decoding words into numbers. And I'm just wondering, for other new followers that you have out there, what is it that you? It seems like it's really us against them. What is it that we really can do besides sharing the videos, besides going out there and learning this knowledge ourselves to, really get the word out there a lot more and continue this way?
Sure. So it's like I said. I mean, until we build up enough of a movement. Oh, and you know what? Let me just backtrack about what I'm about to say. Okay, let's go back. This past Friday, I bribed people, right? I don't think there would have been as big of a turnout on Friday if I hadn't brought $1,000 worth of hoodies to give away. And I also think the other contributing factor was people heard that a man was flying in from Arizona to join us, which he did. And he stood out there in the freezing cold and the rain all day, being from Arizona, and shook and froze his ass off all day. I felt bad about it because he's not used to this weather. But he stood out there all day like a trooper shaking. But anyway, that got 20 people out there. Well, 21 plus myself. So there were 22 total people out there. And with those 22 people, we got the whole building to buzz, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And that caused over the weekend the Event 201 to become viral on social media. So with a group of people, we were able to get information out there. Now that was with just 20-some people. Imagine if in 50 states, 20-some people gathered and did the same thing all over. I'm sure the amount of, I don't know what the plural is for virality or whatever, it would have been magnified. We need to keep growing our numbers and do the same type of things and get public exposure and awareness and talk to people on the street. And it's just like, we got to confront Fox News. Now Fox News at least knows about the information. We got to talk to Cairo 7 in Seattle. We need teams of people doing the same thing all over the nation right now. This is going on all over the nation. We need big enough numbers so that we can do acts of civil disobedience. While they're making all these rules for, you can't have more than 50 people, or now 25, or now 10 people. You know what? We need a pack of people who have enough balls to show up and say, you know what? Fuck that. This is America. We're supposed to be free. I'm not worried about catching the fucking cold. I'm not ending my world over the coronavirus hysteria since all that's dying is elderly and, we're going to show up, and we're going to show up with 500 fucking people at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and we're all going to get the noise out even more. Let's make the news get there. The news would show up then like, wow, 500 people disobeying the city ordinance. I mean, that's what needs to happen. So it's about getting enough people aware and doing something and mobilizing. And again, I'm trying to do all this stuff to help people do it, and all I'm finding is no one will even fucking participate. I'm paying $1,000 a month right now for a website, free2findtruth.com, to help people sign up for free. It's fucking free to use. It is free. I'm paying the bill. Can people sign up? Just put an anonymous name on there and just put your real city so people can find people in their own city, message them, say, hey, what's up? Hey, you want to go do this? I mean, I'm trying to help people do this right now. I'm finding that no one will even sign up for the free site hardly. Apologies to the 2,500 people who are there. I'm grateful for those 2,500 people, but where's the other, thousands of people at? Why can't you guys sign up there and try to network? Why do I have more people who are Facebook friends than people on Free to Find Truth? Facebook's a fucking part of this conspiracy, Illuminati, censorship, bullshit agenda. You guys are more willing to be on their platform than the one that we built for us. I mean, that just shows the mind control. You guys can't donate $1 a I don't know if I'm talking to you, man, but I'm talking to all the people. Listen, people, we need resources. We need people to pitch in. We need people to actually participate. I mean, you guys can't all just be keyboard warriors and YouTube video watchers. A lot of you guys are watching too many fucking videos. That guy that just called me up and was like, what about this? I just heard that, the Q movement's taking down all the bad guys. It's just like, does that even sound even like halfway what the fuck's going on, man? I mean, come on. You're watching too many damn videos. Listen to what I'm putting out and help spread the word. I don't mean to sound so arrogant, but I don't know any other truth channel that's putting out much besides bullshit and hot air. So, I mean, this is where the facts are.
You're absolutely right. And I think that's like one of the tough things. The tough things is having this knowledge. It kind of drives you fucking nuts. Like, now I can't even watch a sports game without even, I already know, all right, this guy's clearly this team is clearly throwing the game. But more than that, it's like showing people what's actually going on and showing, Deontay Wilder is definitely throwing this fight. Like, knowing it before it even happens and showing people, and just their reaction and the way they're kind of, taking to it is, no wonder why you're not having people. I just found out about the Brady Truth. I just wrote it down right now. I'm going to sign up right after this phone call. But it's no wonder why people are not, accepting, I guess, or understanding or even trying to learn what this knowledge is actually about. And, it's more than just making money on sports games and stuff like that. This is actually what the fuck is going on. This is the mind control. This is the stuff behind. And showing people this, they just all right, they're so oblivious, and they call me dumb, and they call me, I'm just trying to find the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth is what sets you free.
That's right, man. How old are you?
I'm 22 years old. I'm from New York.
Well, it's good to be 22, first of all, so congratulations. Enjoy it. But second of all, man, I've been going through the same thing since pretty much I was your age, or even a little bit younger, because it happened to me when I was 18 after 9/11, and I was making fair points and questioning things that need to be questioned. Man, everyone treated me like I was a crazy person. I just thought I knew I wasn't crazy. It built character, man, but it is frustrating. So I hear you.
Yeah. It's like the world is falling apart around it, but at the same time, everything is calm. So weird.
Exactly, man. It just goes to show how the media can just create hysteria out of nowhere. The government can back it up, and most people will just fall in line, not even question anything. Just submit, man. It's pathetic.
All right, one last question for you. This is what really is a lot heavy on my mind. Are they untouchable?
No, they're not untouchable, man. They're not untouchable. They weren't always there. They can be gotten rid of. If they were untouchable, they wouldn't delete my channel 19 times. If they were untouchable, they wouldn't even worry about shit. I'll tell you what. So here's the most concerning thing to me about this Sunday's march and even Friday's. People were sent out to harass us. One guy was out there from the ADL all day calling us Nazis. Everybody who walked by, he was screaming, "Look at these real-life Nazis right here." Across the street, all corners, people in sunglasses with all these photographs, taking all these pictures and shit. Who are these people? Feds? I'm not worried about it, man. I've been harassed by these people for a long time, but if we were untouchable, they wouldn't be out there fucking with us, documenting us. They're worried about us, and we're just a small group of people. So, they're not untouchable, man. They can.
The more we grow in numbers, the more they have reason to be scared of us.
Yeah, I always say to people, I said the same thing forever, man. If you could take over the news and say to everybody, wake the fuck up. You live in a nation where you are not supposed to be taxed on your income, but you all are. How about from this day forward, we all say, fuck it, we're not paying our taxes. All the numbers we're not paying, there's not going to be jack shit they can do about it. Imagine if that happened. That's what the news should be doing. The news is supposed to be information for the people. The news should be telling people that every day. But again, the news isn't information for the people. It's the propaganda branch. So that's why we need big enough numbers so that we can take some big, bold steps. We're not paying our taxes anymore. We're all going to have way more money in our pocket. And for all of you who can't donate a fucking dollar, realize you're going to keep getting fucked in your ass. You're going to keep getting paid more and more in taxes each year. You're going to keep taking it more and more up the fucking ass because you can't chip in a dollar to a movement that actually has the capability to change the tide of things. If you guys can't see that I'm someone who can actually lead this fucking shit, then you are fucking blind as everything. If you're one of the dumb motherfuckers still leaving comments that I'm a shill and an agent, you are just fucking dumb. If you're somebody who left a comment this weekend that scene was staged with Fox News, man, get the fuck out of here. What looks staged about that? I walked up on him. You saw what the whole fucking thing was. You said because that guy's holding a Masonic fucking pose, I'm in on it? No, I exposed their fucking scene, you dumb motherfuckers. And I'm not talking to you on the phone, but I'm talking to all the idiots who leave these stupid fucking comments, man. One guy said that he was going to leave one guy left a long comment about how he was thinking about donating, but because I carried myself like a crazy person with the Fox News thing, he doesn't want to invest. I mean, get the fuck out of here, man, if that's not a troll comment. Sorry, man.
Wow. That's unbelievable. That's sad. It's sad is what it really is.
It is, man. It is.
Yeah, it's crazy how we outnumber them by so much, but they still find some way to make us feel like we don't.
Because that's the mind control, man.
So
that is the mind control. Everyone's under that government mind control. Government means govern the mind, and do they ever, man? Everyone's under their mind control almost.
And that's why it clicked for me right away. It makes sense. I felt these things. I was just never able to have the science and the numbers to put it behind it. So once I found you, I was like, this is fucking perfect. This is what I needed. And I'm like, thank you so much for the work, and I'll continue to do what I can on my end here in New York. And, keep up the good work, Zach.
All right, I appreciate it, man. You have a good day. You take care.
All right, thank you.
What's up, caller?
Hey, it's Jericho again. A lot of the callers, they ask you, what they can do to spread this message. Man, there's 1,000,001 things they can do. They can print out little flyers and just leave them in public places, like the 77 Pentagon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just print out a bunch of little cards, and when you go to a restaurant, put them on a queen table, so whenever somebody sits down, they see that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I dance on the beach to Latin music for tips, and I'm in the process of making a sign about the 77 and the Pentagon. And I get a lot of attention, man. I'm going to put that motherfucker right next to me and have people read it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great idea, man.
Yeah, hey, your car. None of us are rich. Most of us aren't rich. You get your car and put Zachary K. Hubbard on the back of it. I'm going to do that on the glass. You know what I mean? And put something like like the 77 and Pentagon thing. This can do.
These are great ideas, man. A guy who had an old pickup truck, he etched in the back of his old pickup truck, "What is 47?" Since it was all the paint was messed up anyway. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I had some more ideas, but dude, I get anxiety when I call you. So when I think of them again, I'll just call back.
I don't know what you dance in public and you get anxiety when you call me.
Dude, you are like, man, you're a celebrity to me, man. Like I don't give a fuck about celebrities, but like, dude, you're the man, Zach.
Well, I appreciate it. I wish I had the balls to dance in public, man. But yeah, you don't be nervous when you call me, man.
You got the biggest.
All right, Jericho, keep it up, man. I like your ideas.
Yeah, when I remember that stuff, I'll call in some other time. All right, man.
All right, take care, man. See you. Caller?
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, is this Zach?
This is Zach, man. What's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
I'm trying to get through for a minute.
Okay. What's up, man?
I'm calling from New York.
I'm listening.
I just came across your channel in some of the work that's being done or that you've been doing. It's just so new to me that these things is happening. So I mean, how do you learn this stuff?
Well, again, the way I learned it was I knew there was something up with numbers in the world because I always saw the same numbers getting put everywhere, and I was like, what's up with these numbers? Why do they always show up? And I was just trying to find the meaning of numbers for like literally 10 years before I found the answer. So I was searching, and then finally I came across the right piece of information, a page from the book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, where it revealed this thing, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. And it didn't give you a lot of information, but it just told you, here's some ciphers. Go take a look and see what you find. And so I did. And back then I did it on pen and paper. I didn't even know about any Gematria calculator online, so I took the time to write out a bunch of shit, and I was like, wow, there is something here.
Yeah, this work is deep, man, because I came across your page. I watched, 2-3 videos, and I was like, man, this is really deep because, when I was raised too, my stepfather always told me to open my mind up to different things, and never put aside anything that's new. I think that's what the society is based off of. When you bring information to people, they usually shut it down, try to, put it down and say, oh, that's garbage. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Well, this kind of took a lot of interest. I took a lot of interest in this type of thing, this type of work. I also heard you say that you have a website, too, that you can go to and donate or something like that. How do you do that?
Well, I was saying, so I built a website that's been up for a few months now, free to find. I shouldn't say I built it. I hired people to build it and maintain the website. I don't know how to build websites. So I'm paying them $1,000 a month to maintain this website, to have built this website. I'm on a contract with them, and I was hoping it was going to blow up and people would really go there, but it's called freetofindtruth.com. And I'm not looking, there's no place to donate there. It's just free to use. I didn't want anyone to think that like they needed to apply money. All I want is people to network and make friends. Because so many people always call me up and they're like, Zach, man, I'm so lonely. I'm suicidal. Everyone hates me now for this. So I wanted there to be a place where people can find new friends, find new people in their community who care about truth. Because we're all out here. We just have to find each other. So that's what that website's about. If you want to make a donation, I pin as the top post in the comments of every video the places where you can donate. I have a few different places you can donate. What I'm really trying to do is just get people to pledge $1 a month so that every month on the 1st, out of their bank account, it'll take $1. I'm saying I want the goal for the revenue to get to $30,000 a month because there's a really great building we can rent. Make it Gematria Effect News Studios. It has I put up the video a while ago showing the building. It's got a restaurant. It's got all this office space. It's an awesome deal. It's $1,500 a month for 6,000 square feet of floor space, including a full kitchen and restaurant. But I just see this being a place where like you could have an office. You could even run like a health food restaurant. You could have meetings. You could have people flying and teach them about this. Anyway, I'm just trying to create a real place that people can hub and we can hire people and put the word out further. And I'm saying there's a big enough community here that if everybody pledged $1 a month, we could hire a team of people, have a building, and start building something much bigger. So, and people aren't hearing me, man. Every time I say it, nobody donates anything. And I'm just like, God, you guys can't put in $1 a month for this? Come on. So.
All right, this is some, like, it's deep work right now, you know. It's something that I was like, wow, like, this shit, like, is really serious, the way you break down these things. And I was like, man, like, you know, like, it opens up a whole different, you know, portal in the mind, like, you know, in a different paradigm. It puts, you know, it puts the mind at a level where it's supposed to be, you know.
I agree.
You actually want to know.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's like it's
to your work too.
It's that phrase, knowledge is power. And what I've found out is a lot of people in this society, they don't care about knowledge. They don't see what to do with knowledge. It's just like, I don't know, when people come across, they're like, what's the point of knowing this? Like, to me, it's like, man, isn't it just self-evident? But,
yeah.
So.
Okay. So your website is free to find truth?
.com. That's the website to network with people. The website where I post videos in my decodes and stuff, that's gematriaeffect.news. And in the top right corner of that website, you can make a one-time purchase of my book. It's only $5. Now, people always get confused. Realize when you buy my book, it's an instant download. It's an ebook. But I purposefully left the copyright off the book so anyone can take it to a bindery and have it printed into a real book. No one will publish my book, but you get an 800-page book for $5 packed with life-changing knowledge. And again, anybody who reads the first 10 pages of this book, they're going to feel like they got their money's worth. So.
Wow. That's deep, man.
Yeah, gematriaeffect.news. And in the right corner, you'll see where it says ebook. If you're on your cell phone, there's a drop-down menu to get to it. But if you're on a computer, it just shows right up.
Okay, man. Yeah, definitely appreciate this work, man, and this knowledge, you know, that you're bringing forth, and do appreciate everything. And we keep more of a lookout for everything that you do post up now, and everything that you do put out now.
You reminded me of one more thing. You reminded me of.
I will do that.
It was submitted to the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It just got approved yesterday by the Apple App Store. You have to search GEN for Gematria Effect News. GEN, like Gen, space Gematria Calculator. It'll come up on the Apple Store. It should be any day that Google puts it up. I think it's funnier that Apple beat Google, but Google hates me. So anyway, that's free to download. And I'm embarrassed to say how much the web developer ended up charging me to get this thing built. I'll just say, I mean, I kind of got a decent used car for what he ended up charging. So I feel like I kind of got ripped off. He advised me to charge people to download it. I didn't want to charge people to download it. I want people to have access to this shit. So realize, you guys, I'm putting a lot of money into this movement to try to help other people out. I could just have been a greedy asshole with this back in the day for all the people who can't donate $1 fucking dollar. For all the people who can't donate $1, realize when I started this, when I figured this shit out, I had a good business that was destroyed for putting this out. You know, I lost my livelihood at the time of being. I lost my own business for doing this shit. I could have just kept this knowledge myself and just, you know, gambled and made a nice fortune for myself. But I put it out there to help out other people. And for all this shit, all of you guys who benefited from this, you can't come back and give $1 goddamn dollar a month, man. I don't get it. So, anyway.
Okay.
Appreciate it, man.
I signed up for it, you know, and this is my first time actually coming across these things and really coming across this information. You know, I'll be sure to sign up and do that. I have one more question for you, Zach. What is the purpose? You say you did a calculator, you created a calculator. Like, what do we do with that? Like, if I downloaded that, can I like put some type of numbers in to try to figure something out? Like, my thing is, this is my first time, like, hearing this information and experiencing this thing and like soaking up this knowledge and, you know, taking in what I need to take in, you know, just so to understand more.
Right.
Like, what is the purpose of it? Like,
so the purpose is so that you can learn to do your own decoding. You know, you'll have the tool right there in your hand. You see that Floyd Mayweather's uncle's dead at 58. You know, you can research that. Why is he dead at 58? Why is he dead on this day? So it's all, you know, the same. You can do the same things that I'm doing essentially. You can use the knowledge.
Okay. So everything is just basically numbers, like letters or words. I heard you say something like that, right?
Again, this all comes from Kabbalah. Kabbalah states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. So,
okay.
Yeah, you can do what I did once upon a time when I heard that. I was like, well, what's God equal? And I was like, oh, God equals 26. What's letter equal? Oh, 26. 26 letters in the alphabet? There must be something to that. I mean, that's where I started, just asking questions like that. And back then I used to do it all by hand. Now you can just type it in and you get the result instantly. So you can speed up the research process times 1,000.
Okay. Most definitely. I do appreciate your work, man. I don't want to take up too much as people back in.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, take care, man. See you. Caller, you're on, but give me 1 second. I just want to break down this breaking news. So it's Kevin Durant that supposedly has coronavirus. And just remember, look at his name, Gematria. 139, 158, like Freemasonry, like Johns Hopkins, who did the simulation. 68, like basketball, like Wuhan. Again, same numbers we've been talking about. So, again, every basketball player we're pinpointing has this 68 connection. All right, caller, what's up?
Yeah, hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Good. Calling from California. My name is Martin. Yeah, hey, bro. So I'm on your Patreon. I'm on your $11 tier.
Thank you.
So no problem, brother. I wish I could do a little more, but
that's a lot, man. 11 is a lot, man. I'm asking people to do $1. You're covering for 10 other people right now. 11's a lot to give every month. $11 a month is $132 a year, man. If everybody in the movement pitched in $132 a year, we could hire a team of like 30 people and still have resources to travel. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yep, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, you're on, man. I'm listening.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, bro. Yeah. I mean, hey, and but like I was gonna ask you, so I'm a supporter, and people that only pay $1 are getting the same information that I get on your Patreon. I mean, I don't think that's fair.
Well, you're right, and so you're right. It's not fair. And right now, I'm not really putting a lot of content on Patreon, as you know, right now, because right now I'm just kind of, it's like crazy times. Everybody needs to know what's going on. I'm essentially asking people to just support what they can so that we can take this to the next level. So we can hire a team of people. Like for example, I've passed the torch on to Rod and Victor to do the daily sports decodes, because like I said, at the end of the year, I feel like some crazy shit's coming down. I got to really get the knowledge out there, get this in the hands of people. I feel like my intuition was right, because it's been a crazy year in 2020, and I said that at the end of 2019. But imagine if like we had the resources coming in. I could hire Rod and Drake as full-time employees, have them in the Gematria Effect News Studios. They both said they're willing to do it. And they could be putting out the sports content right now on Patreon, depending on what tier you're more information. So you're not getting what you deserve on Patreon right now for being a supporter, but you are supporting the movement and allowing me to help reach more people. So that's how I'd like you to look at it right now.
All right, I will. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my book to. I had the book printed out because I just do better with the book in front of me.
I agree. Me too.
So I'm just waiting for it to. It should be here like this week. Another thing. I was watching you in Seattle, bro. Those news people, they don't care, bro. They don't care what. They don't care. They just want to get paid. They just want to get paid and go home to their wives and kids and they just want to get paid. They're
right.
They're in a different world, bro. They're in a different mindset. I'm sure they have kids and a wife.
Exactly. That's what America is, right, man? It's people that are going out. They need to get their check. They need to fulfill their job for their boss as instructed so they can keep getting that paycheck so they can support their family. I mean, this is what the American lifestyle is. I get it. Yeah, those news guys out there, they're told to go out there and report a specific story. They just want to do that story. I realized that I was fucking up their job. Like, their job is to get this story done. I'm a guy keeping them from completing their job. But the reason I'm doing that is because I realize what's more important than just those three guys who are there propagandizing America is that the world deserves to know what the fuck's really going on, because that's supposed to be the actual purpose of the news. That's why we're supposed to have a First Amendment. And because those three guys are protecting their own ass, they're selling out the thousands of people in the Seattle area, the millions of people worldwide, if not billions, who are being inconvenienced by this right now. So that's why those three people need to step up and make a sacrifice to do the right thing, and not enough people do that in this world. Very few people are willing to sacrifice anything on their end for the betterment of humanity. And you know what? For all the people who call me a shill, it pisses me off because I made that sacrifice every single fucking day since essentially I was an adult. And to be called a shill by people who are fucking bums doing nothing on the internet but nothing but watching and trolling on YouTube videos, it's like, get the fuck out of here criticizing what you know nothing about, man. Makes me sick.
That's funny, bro. Yeah. You make me laugh.
laugh sometimes, bro. Like I listen to you all the time. Hello?
Yeah, you're on, man.
Yeah. Like I listen to you all the time, bro. Because I'm new. I'm listening all the time, and sometimes you just make me crack up, bro. You're funny. You know you're funny.
Well, I know. People say I make them laugh. I mean, I don't try to be funny, but I guess sometimes the thing I say are funny. So I appreciate it. I'm glad. It's good to laugh. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem, brother. I think that's about it, bro. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, hey, I drive Uber for now. I've been driving Uber. My brother was telling me that they're gonna shut down. So
I'm sure they are, man, and that'll be another major inconvenience because that's how a lot of people are making their living right now. And I'm sure is there way less rides right now because everyone's scared?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. And I live out here in California, and I live with my girlfriend. We split the rent, but I gotta come up with like 900 every month just for the rent. But I always do it. But it's just crazy right now, bro. But
right, it is, man. Yeah. There's a lot of people who are going to be very inconvenienced, not going to be able to meet their bills, going to get more credit card debt. Because watch, that's also the way these bankers scheme it. They're like, watch, people won't be able to pay their bills. We're going to be getting even more credit card interest off all the credit card holders. And the whole thing is a major financial scam, man. That's going to fuck over all of the common people like us. And honestly, man, I'm just gonna put this out there for anyone who's in that kind of situation like you. If you're having trouble getting your 900 this month and you're like, shit, man, I can't afford the 11 on the Patreon. By all means, stop it until you can, or drop it down to $1 if you can still manage the dollar. But that's what they're doing to the world, man. I mean, and that's why we gotta stop this. There's too much power in the hands of too few people. They can just fuck us on a dime like what they're doing to us right now. That's the whole thing I've been trying to wake people up to before this shit happened. I've been preaching the same thing, that this was going to happen since 2013. I've been saying since 2015 Trump will likely be the next president, and if he is, it's going to be the house of cards. They're going to collapse the economy, fuck us, start another war. It could all happen this year. So it's not too late. Even if they do that, the world's going to go on, but this shit needs to get exposed. That's the point. That's why I think everyone can afford $1 a month even through the recession to help fight back against the tyranny. So.
Oh yeah, bro. If you I spoke to you the other day. If you can't afford $1 a day, bro, there is something majorly wrong with you. And you're going to YouTube and listening to all your information, and you can't go and donate $1 or just sign up for $1. It's like, come on, bro. It's like something's wrong. It's just $1.
I know these people got cell phones and internet connections. They're paying more than $1 for that.
Yeah, bro. So. I don't know, bro, but anyways, I just that's it, bro. That's it. I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Well, thank you again for supporting, man, and thank you for understanding.
I'm not gonna stop. I got family, bro. I got family. I got brothers. I got 3 older brothers. My mom, my dad. I'm covered. So, but that was nice of you to say. If you ain't got it this month, just go down a tier or whatever. I won't be doing that. But also, I was listening. A lot of I was baptized Catholic, and my parents sent me to a private Catholic school too, and I did not know any of the information that you're saying, bro. I did not know it. So I just wanted to tell you that. And my mom, my mom was born and raised Catholic, and she even went to a school that you go it's all females and you go stay there. But anyway, my point is that because the other day I was listening to one of your videos and you said,
I don't know how anybody can be Catholic, right? That's what I said.
Yes, mm-hmm. And yes, that's exactly what you said. And I said, that's cool, but some people just don't know this information, bro.
I get it, man. My dad's remarried to a nice Mexican lady from Mexico City. She's the sweetest woman in the world. She's super Catholic. They got their whole house. It's funny. My dad loves this woman because she's so sweet. But my dad doesn't like religion. But man, their whole house is just like Catholic stuff everywhere right now. And she doesn't know anything either, man.
Does he know the information?
She doesn't know anything. No, she just obeys her tradition. When I say I don't know how people can be Catholic, I'm being kind of rhetorical, man. I get it, man. People are raised in their values. They don't learn the bad. They learn their culture and what they're born into, but they don't ever try to like really expand and step outside of the box and learn more. And they just stick to what they know from essentially their upbringing. And it's not enough, man, because a lot of our upbringing, we didn't get the information that we actually needed. So.
I agree, brother. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you very much, and I'll be listening, bro.
All right, appreciate the support, man.
Thank you. No
All right, take care.
Bye.
Yeah, man, it's just screwed up what they're doing to everybody. I mean, this is affecting everybody, and it's just amazing, man. The mind control is so for anyone who doubted how strong the mind control was of government and media. If you're awake, you can't deny it anymore. I mean, this is just the craziest thing we've ever seen, this coronavirus thing. The toilet paper, all of it. Caller?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Is it Zach?
This is Zach. What's up, man?
Hi, Zach, man. My name's Q. I'm from here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And you're very new to me, but you're not new to my ex. And I was brought to attention of a video you posted about the LSU National Championship with
Do you know I was just down there? You know I was just in Baton Rouge?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the video that I watched. My ex she lives in Miami. We're split up, but she used to talk about you all the time, bro. All the time. And I never took the shit seriously. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And she called me up a month or two ago, whenever it was, you posted that video of LSU. About Joe Burrow transferring into LSU the same exact date that Billy Cannon won the Heisman Trophy.
No, the same day that Billy Cannon died, but then they repeated history.
The same day that Billy Cannon died, right. And Joe Burrow and Billy Cannon ended up being the only two LSU players to win the Heisman Trophy. They basically played the same teams to go to the national championship and in the same dome. That right there made me say, wow, because I'm from Baton Rouge, born and raised in Baton Rouge, and I actually, believe it or not, played a year of football under Nick Saban at LSU. And it kind of blew my mind. From that point on, I've been watching you, and I've watched this live broadcast that you've had up here for the last hour and a half or something. Look, man, you changed me. Don't stop doing this. People need this, and I really want to know how to get your book because I want to read it. And then from that point on, I want to continue having contact with you because the stuff going on right now with this coronavirus, you're making it very clear to me. And if you can make it very clear to me, you can make it very clear to a lot of people, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. So, an easy way to get the book, and understand it's an ebook, so it's an instant download. You can have it printed in a number of different ways. But to get the book instantly downloaded to your device, you just go to gematriaeffect.news, which is my website.
Okay.
And then if you're on your cell phone, there's a little drop-down menu in the top right corner. If you're on a computer, it should say at the top, there should be a tab that says ebook. And then just right there, you can add it to cart, and you should get.
Go with it.
And then you got it. Yeah.
That sounds good, man. I don't. Like I said, I'm new to this. I hate to be one of these callers that just come in and bounce out, but I don't really have much to add to the decoding or the events going on because it's new to me. But that LSU stuff, there's definitely something fishy going on with that, or definitely something fishy that went on with that, should I say?
Of course. So what was nice is, I got to. What was nice about being on the campus is I got to talk to students and even football players from the team who were on campus, and I got to look them in the eye. And to the football players, I said to them, really, I'm here for people like you, man, because it's like last summer, July 5th, I was covering the story of the death of Tyshawn Dye, former Clemson running back, who died exactly 192 days before the championship. And I told people that day, done deal, Clemson's back in the championship. Clemson Tigers 192. They do this every year. The year before that, they did it to their running back C.J. Fuller. Same shit. They do this every year. And I said, this happens like clockwork. Young people reported dead mysteriously, suicide, drowning, shooting, and it's always synced with the championship. And I said, and some of the players got it, man. Some didn't even want to come talk to us, and I wonder about those ones. I'm like, maybe those are the ones that know a little bit more, and then other ones who...
I'm glad you said that. I do have something to ask you. If you're talking to somebody who's played football for 3 major college programs, I signed with Miss O, all conference, And I've never noticed anything on the field or off the field that would hint to these people rigging or staging these games. So my question to you is,
okay, here, let me
go about doing it?
Here, I got some questions for you.
Like, is it just like a coach? Is it just a quarterback? Is it the guys that are potentially going pro that have a reason to keep their mouth shut? Because I was never good enough to go pro. Never was going to go pro, but I was a pretty good college ball player. I know a few guys from LSU that went pro. And to me, I would like to know, for somebody who's been doing this, how do you think they go about it?
Sure. So, okay, over the years, my opinions evolved, but let's just talk about things from like the college championship. So that game, the over-under, it finished a half point at the over-under in that game, but it should have been on the over because Clemson had a touchdown in the fourth quarter, like a long touchdown, that was overturned by the referees. They called offensive passive interference. And it looked like a phantom call. Didn't look like there was any offensive pass interference, but they brought back a 50-yard touchdown on that play. So, I mean, that's all refs right there, but still, there was still a lot of time left in the fourth quarter for some scoring, and none of it happened. So I think that's the coaches, too, calling, like, shitty plays. I think it's definitely the coaches and the refs, and I think there's key players on each team. The LSU-Alabama game, did you watch the LSU-Alabama game this year?
Yes, I did.
So I liked LSU in a big way in that game. They had all the numbers. It was pretty clear read that they'd win. They did. But remember how Alabama got that free touchdown at the end?
Yes, they basically covered the spread.
Well, and it was just like, why would LSU ever be in that defense to even set up that free touchdown?
Right.
So that's got to be coaching and maybe one player in the secondary to just let it be blown open. But then Alabama got their signature 41 points. 41's the 13th prime, Alabama 13. I'm always talking about Alabama 13 and 41. Shit always comes together. So, again, I think it's mostly coaches and refs and maybe a key player or two on each side of the ball. So.
See, did you by any chance do any work or any doing this on the Patriots Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl where they blew a 28-point lead?
Oh, dude, I wish my channel hadn't been deleted because I did a video before the Super Bowl was played, and because I was so accurate in my prediction, a lot of people who watched afterwards said, this is all hindsight, and I was like, no, you dumb fucking idiots. It was posted 3 days before the Super Bowl. It's not all hindsight. Because I said the video game was going to be, not the video game, I said the game was going to be all about the number 25. Because I explained Falcons equals 25, the game's on 2/5, flip it around 5-2, Brady and Belichick will be 5-2 in Super Bowls. Well, that video had hundreds of thousands. I used to get way more views back in the day. But anyway, that video had when it was deleted, it probably had 25,000 comments. And if you read through the comments, most of them were left during the game, and they were like, you're a fucking idiot. I thought you said Patriots were guaranteed to win. It was all about 25. So just thousands and thousands of comments like that because the Patriots were way down, right? Well, how many?
That game really made me feel like there was something, because like I told you, I played football my whole life, and nothing Atlanta Falcons did in there from a football perspective would say they were trying to win that game. It's almost like they're trying to let that game go, you know?
I have to ask, how old are you?
I am 34 years old.
Well, you're barely younger than me, so, okay. So I've thought sports are this way my whole life, honestly. I've just thought sports are bullshit. I'm not as athletic as you. I didn't play Division I ball, but I'm a good athlete, and I always had a good mind. But anyway, I just thought sports were bullshit since the time I was a kid, just watching pro sports. I'd be like, man, if he's getting $1 million out there play, put me in as a kid. I'm better than him. I wouldn't do that dumb of a fucking mistake if I was him. But that Falcons game, exactly. I said the same thing after that Falcons game. I said, nobody can think the NFL's real anymore. I mean, the Falcons had 1st and 10 with 4 minutes left on about the New England 22 or something like that. Man, run the ball 3 times.
Run the ball.
Kick a field goal. You got a money in the bank kicker. You're in a dome.
Football 101. Man.
Yeah.
I learned this in elementary school.
But how did they do instead? Oh, let's drop back to pass. Oh, let's take a huge sack.
A punt, a big play.
But dude, the down was 3rd and 33. 3rd and 33.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Go back and look. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, oh my God, 3rd and 33, man. Atlanta on the 33rd parallel. Dude, shit is a joke, man. And before that season began, the first prediction I put out for that season was in the NFC. My very first prediction was, I said in the NFC, it's most likely we'll see the Packers or the Falcons in the Super Bowl in the NFC because they're the two teams with the 44 connection, and it's on a 44-date numerology. And shit, man, they went to the NFC Championship, those two teams. and the Falcons won with 44 points. And
Right.
and that was the very first pick I put out for that year. But I got to admit, I came off that. I said they still have a chance, but there was a death of the New York Giants before the Hall of Fame game, and then I saw things line up for the Giants. And I was like, oh shit, man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the Giants. And again, I overthought it that year. But anyway, once the Falcons were there, it was just. Anyway, yeah, that whole ending to Super Bowl, that was Super Bowl 51, by the way. Houston Texans equals 51. They hosted it that year. Minnesota equals 52. They hosted Super Bowl 52. Anyway, it's all numbers games. It was all about 25 that year. Patriots with the 25-point comeback that should have never happened. Only happened because of... and by the way, the coach for the Falcons that year, whose birthday is September 11th, that year the first Sunday was on September 11th, but he came over from the Seahawks, right? He was coaching the Seahawks when they lost to the Patriots at the goal line on some bullshit, too.
Right, a dumb pass. Dumb pass Russell Wilson picked off by Malcolm Butler.
The first time all season the Seahawks threw the ball on the 1-yard line. They hadn't done it all year. They were almost perfect on conversions from the 1-yard line with Marshawn Lynch. There was plenty of time in the game. They had a timeout. They had downs. Why would you do that?
From a football perspective, I have no idea, but watching what you put up here, I can get an idea of why they do that.
Again, to remind people, go back and check the box score. Russell Wilson's 21st pass was intercepted by number 21 on the down 2nd and 1, 2-1. The date of the Super Bowl was February 1st, 2-1. The word pick in Gematria equals 21. This year in the Super Bowl, the first interception was by number 21, and I was laughing my ass off because I was in a bar in New Orleans wearing the Seahawks t-shirt all about 21. First interception of the game.
The guy, the linebacker number 54, get an interception, and you were saying a lot. Like I said, I've been watching these videos since the LSU national championship from my girlfriend. I watched the one where you said they were going to say the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak was going to be in Seattle, Washington, like a week before they came out and said it. So, like I said, you're on to something. You're past on to something. Like, you made a believe out of me, man. And I don't want to hold up too much of your time because I'm just one of these. Sounds like we're sitting here talking more sports when people could be actually, like, talking what needs to be talked
No,
about.
it needs to all be talked about. It's all related. It's just like how I've talked about the NBA and 113 like no less than 1,000 times. Well, what happens this year with the coronavirus thing on 113, March 11th, the National Basketball Association 113. I've said 1,000 times. The only team that equals 113 is Utah Jazz.
You,
a player from the
You
Utah.
also said like 113 was like I think I couldn't even think, but like for you said a Jewish person has the right to lie in front of a non-Jewish person in a legal setting, and the 113 was like bullshit or something, the fable or whatever it was.
It's from the Talmud. Bava Kamah 113a says it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who's not Jewish as long as it's a legal setting, which again is pretty much anywhere in the world. Right. And a lot of words equal 113. Mainstream, dishonest, not true, not factual,
right.
Fiction, bullshit, perjury, infidelity, divorce. All these things that have to do with dishonesty are all 113. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. See, that's what I saw as a kid, Michael Jordan. I just knew NBA was bullshit when I was a kid, just watching Michael Jordan play. I was like, this guy can do anything he fucking wants. Nobody can even touch him.
They don't even guard him. They never guarded him.
I knew, exactly. I saw it as a kid. I was like 7 years old. I knew the NBA was bullshit. I was a Portland Trailblazer fan, but I was like, this is bullshit.
You're right about that. Never even guarded him. Well, man, like I say, Zach, there's a lot of ignorant people in this world, but there's a lot more closed-minded people in the world. There's still a lot of open-minded people in this world, and I feel like what you're doing is going to reach those people, man. Don't stop doing this, bro. I think, I mean, I watched this video, and I watched a few videos, and I can see how the stuff is starting to get under your skin that people aren't, like, listen. There's more people listening to you than you think, man. Like,
here's the reality, man. Here's the reality. Here's how I really am. If I got off this live stream and said, this is my last fucking video, and never hear from me again, man, I'd do a blog post 10 minutes later and have a video in 30 minutes up, man. That's just how I am. I'm not going to quit, but I get fucking frustrated that people won't support.
I can tell, but I tell you what, you calm my nerves by letting me say that this is probably a bunch of orchestrated bullshit that we're just going to have to ride our way throughout and learn on it, and then start to, like you say, get the word out and open in more people's minds like me. Because I'll be the first to say that when my ex, I mean, for years, she used to talk about you, dude. She's going to be so excited that I got to talk to you because I just felt like calling you watching this. But you're definitely doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. You're doing a damn good job, and I'm very new to this, and I feel like you're doing a damn good job to the point to where I'm going to educate myself on this. And if you continue doing these videos, I will call in. And I'm Q from Baton Rouge.
Well, here's what I want to say. Don't say too much information. I worry about you, honestly, man. And here's why I worry about you. And I don't mean to create paranoia in your life. It's just that so many former athletes at these Division I schools die young, and it's always synced with the championship. So I'm not trying to scare you, but it could even be somebody like you. And like right now, you're 34, and 4 years you'll be 38. So often it's those ages because like murder's 34 and 38. It's always the same numbers.
I don't want to say my whole name.
Yeah, don't say anymore, man. I'm just saying.
Because
I'm just saying.
Like, if you, I've already done the Gematria calculator and did my name, and there's a lot of numbers that you speak of that come up, which kind of made me nervous a little bit too. Because I'm gonna be honest, like you talked about the Lady Deborah. You did the Lady Deborah's name from the video in Seattle just a little while, the black lady.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she knows that.
I don't think she does either.
Like me,
I don't think she has a clue.
I wouldn't have known that either.
Right. I think that's probably why she was chosen, but she doesn't have a clue about it.
Yes, I wouldn't have had a clue about that. And there's some according to you, there's some very significant numbers in my name. So maybe it is a good thing I don't play ball anymore, bro.
But even though you don't play, it's always the former athletes that they use for the ritual. So that's why I just say this knowledge can protect you, man. If like somebody hits you up that you haven't heard from him, wants to.
I can. It definitely is something that can be in somebody's mind based on what you're saying, and that's probably a percentage of the reason why I want to read. The only way to stop being from easy is to educate yourself on the topic.
Indeed. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate the conversation, and thanks for having an open mind and coming around. All right, man. You be safe out there.
You too. Thank you.
All right, take care, man. See you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. My sweet lady just gave me the signal. She needs to study. Even though she's on spring break, she still got to study every day. And she doesn't get to go to school the rest of the year, but she has to do everything online. So she gave me the signal that I've been on too long. Our house is small. Everything's just like connected. That's the other reason I need a building. So I can do my work outside of there and not annoy the hell out of her all the time. All right, I'm going to take one last call, and then that's it. What's up, caller?
Oh, is this me?
It's you. You're on. You're the last caller.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up? This is Gemini Queen, man.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
You there, Jim? It's going well. Thanks for calling back. How are you today?
Oh, I'm pretty cool. You know, they got everybody freaking out, but basically freaking out because of how the government's acting. But everything else is pretty cool, you know.
That's good.
Man, today's show was a whole lot of things, but number one, I wanted to say and reiterate, I support you on Patreon, and I got your books, and I'm on your Facebook, and Gematria.com is free to find the truth and all that. So
Thank you.
I'm putting my part in.
Thank you.
I mean, it's only $1 a month.
That's all it
for my
takes.
part right now.
That's huge.
But
That's huge. That's all it takes.
well, just saying, definitely supporting you. But I wanted to go back to the economic part of what you were talking about.
Okay.
Gemini's a shield, Lord. Okay, so I got the website up in front of my face. But in terms of the bank, I'm really, really trying to figure out if we need to get our money out the bank, if this is like a Brexit situation. 'Cause you know what I'm saying? They're going to start.
Well, the reality is our currency's so electronic and stuff. I mean, there's nothing even in the banks. We're all on like digital currency almost now anyway. It's probably good to have a little bit of cash on hand in case like the credit system goes down and you can need some goods and all they're taking is cash. But I wouldn't trip about that. It's a different day and age. They're trying to get us all on digital currency, so I wouldn't sweat that too much, honestly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it. Well, no, I literally only wanted to know that specifically from you. Outside of that, I have no other questions. Everything else was handled and understood, you know?
Well, I know, man. It's sad how that they do create this unnecessary stress, even though all this shit's contrived. It creates
Right.
real inconvenience and actual real concerns. Because it's like, man, do I need to have this right? Is this going to cause a problem? I mean,
Right.
so
It's not even that people are that concerned about this so-called virus.
it's everything
what
else.
they're going to do.
It's everything else. It's
Right.
like, am I going to be able to go to work tomorrow? Am I going to be able to transport to work? Is there going to what are they? If they scared everybody on toilet paper, what else can they get them to sell out? Are we going to be out of gas for a month so we can't get anywhere? I mean, I know it.
Exactly. It's like per day, what's going to happen and what the hell we got to actually prepare for. Like, damn, this is like people have said, it's like actual movies that we've been watching.
Indeed.
But they indeed made it go down. It's happening.
They are going to go down if we can get people to realize that they have power and they can do something. And that's what I was trying to show people this week. It doesn't even take that many people.
I'm trying.
So, again, I really appreciate it, Gemini. Thanks for donating the $1 a month. Trust me, $1 a month is all it takes. Imagine if all of my followers pitched in $1 a month, this thing would be happening right now. So, $1.
Hey, at least $1.
Yeah, if you can donate more than $1, that's fine. But I mean, seriously, $1 a month. It's recession proof. I know everybody can afford that, even if we're all busted. But again, you guys, this money is not about me. It's about hiring other people and making this movement happen for us. That's what it's about. I'm already donating a lot, you guys. I put everything that I have into this, man, and I'm trying to make it happen for other people too. So.
I feel you, Zach. So we gonna see what it is, and you always have to have trustworthy people that's gonna be around you and super being into that and everything too. But
Right.
I got your back as much as I can, and hopefully everybody else got your back too.
I appreciate it. I know you got my back. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to that next song, so keep it up.
Oh man, all this going on and everything, people be typing.
Right, anything, but these haters, man, they'll make sure their voice is heard. I know that's the worst part about internet culture.
Oh my God, like Zach, like the last few chats and lives you've had, like people are telling me and you tagged in the same thing to stay strapped and talking to me and you in the same sentences and stuff. Like this is getting out of control. But forget what they talking about. And the Murder by Numbers, my track that ish comes out officially on all the platforms like in 3 days. 3 days.
Okay, I'm gonna financially support that. Where can we support you for that work?
Man, I'm on all the things. I'm Gemini the Queen. If anything else, you can just simply Google me. It looks like I'm a celebrity on there, but I'm not.
Okay.
Don't let it fool y'all.
Okay. 3 days. 3 days. So that is the 20th.
Yes.
Okay, I'm supporting it. I look forward to it.
Amen. And mad love to everybody. Everybody is all confused and back and forth with everything. Just try to stay smart, y'all. We got the knowledge. We got Zach right here who only me, but who has woken me up to a lot of knowledge that I did not have, and now I do it on a daily basis kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, just don't be stupid and do what you got to do.
Indeed. And just so people know, we don't know each other at all. You just call into the show. We found out you're a musician. You were willing to make music to help support this movement. And, that's great. So for anyone to call in and say you're a shill over that, it's just crazy. Man,
I'm all kind of... They said I was they said I was a lower level Masonic, and which first of all, I'm offended. If you're going to call me a Mason, I would like to at least be mid or high key. And then they going to say, she's an Eastern Star. Look, don't stop playing with me. If you're going to insult me like that, at least make me, make it a little bit more serious. Low-key Mason. They're all
Sure,
tripping,
sure.
Jack. I don't know.
They're trolls, though. It's probably the same group of people that live on my Patreon. Because, okay, so I'm going to tell everyone a story because it is the you-know-who's who are doing this. I guarantee it. It's just like what happened on the corner at Pike's Place Market. A guy shows up and he says he's from the ADL. And he's there with his video recording camera on his chest. And he has a camera as well, and he's taking photos of everybody, and I'm trying to protect other people as they come up and just let them know, keep your back to this guy. He says he's going to get your face, and he's going to expose you, and people are going to be on you and harassing you, and let it be known that he's like, he thinks he's the real-life Hunters from the Netflix show Hunters about these Jews that go after Nazis. But I mean, we're not even Nazis, but he was accusing every single person who came up and talked to me, whether they even knew anything, just people passing on the street come up and talk to me, start screaming that they're Nazis just for asking me questions. So, but it wasn't just him. There was other people like on corners and sunglasses with their cameras and their video recorders taking pictures. And I was like, what is this, like Team ADL? But it's the same shit that they do on here. They're sitting there. They're paying attention who calls in. They're like, oh, Gemini the Queen, I'm going to research that. Oh, I'm going to harass that person. That's what they do. There's a dude from Hawaii who calls in and they recognize his voice. And it's like they remember. He calls in like once every 3 months. Those people scare you. These people are cowards. They're pathetic. They're just trying to fuck with you. They're trying to deter you. Show them that they aren't shit. Just and ignore them. And I don't even always do the best job of ignoring the trolls, but they deserve to be ignored.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm cool. That track, of course, is not going to help me, but I don't care. It is what it is. Like, one way, the other way, and all the other ways, I'm going to do my thing. I'm trying my best to be an artist and get some leverage with actually, telling the truth and my stuff, but having people, be able to understand what it is. Facebook being mad, whatever.
Sure.
They cool.
Sure. And here, let's just address something, because people who follow, they're going to look at like what your hit songs are on Apple, and they'll be like, look at these songs. She definitely is shill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got some nasty songs, yeah.
And again, you talked to me about this. You said, you know what? I got to go where the market is, and that's what you've been doing. I mean, that's just kind of the way culture dictates things. But at the same time, now you've come out and you're putting out a song about Gematria to promote the knowledge. So people can be haters all they want, but realize this is somebody who's trying to step up.
If you're looking at my songs and listening to them, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying that people need to realize, like, instead of criticizing and looking for a reason to hate on somebody, say, well, you know what? Maybe I don't agree with the music and songs she's put out, but damn, at least she heard the message and is trying to do something to promote. So.
Yeah, and if you listen to my music, like, it's more the way I try to market certain ways and perceptions that I came out with things. But when you listen, every track that I have pretty much has some kind of knowledge in it, though.
Sure.
I'm always on the knowledge. I'm always trying to expand the knowledge of something by any means.
Indeed. Well, I really appreciate you. I'll be picking up your song, and I'll let other people know where they can get it too on this Friday. The song Murder by Numbers. I know the people out there, if you support this work, you're going to like her song a lot. It's catchy, it's well done, and it gets out the word. So, and what else is cool about your release date of March 20th is this year it's a leap year, so it's not quite right, but March 20th is typically the 79th day of the year, and Murder, just with the alphabetic order, is 79. So, again, you're putting it back on them in a way. So, I appreciate it.
Shut up.
Yeah?
Are you serious?
Well, this year it's the 80th day of the year because it's a leap year, but normally the anniversary of the song will be released on the right day. So, yeah, meant to be.
Oh, my goodness. Look, I got to, talk to you every day, Zach, because I am not on it. I need to know some more, because what the hell? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. We normally talk about 83 in Murder, but yeah, 79's right too, so.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, Zach, don't make no video about me.
Oh no, it's not like that. I'll be promoting the song, so I really appreciate it.
Okay. I'm so sorry I didn't mean to stay on the line so long. I took forever to finally get through. But this was a great conversation, and I definitely appreciate you. My birthday is 6/14.
Fleg's birthday.
Yeah.
Fleg's birthday, okay.
I know.
You're a
And
Gemini.
Trump's birthday. Everybody loves
of course.
to send me messages on my birthday about Trump. They're very rude.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah.
And you said something coming up on my birthday too. Oh Lord.
Well, I mean, it's the Fleg's birthday and Trump's birthday. There's usually some big event in the news. Like a few years ago on your birthday, it was that big London fire in the apartment complex. So.
Oh Lord. Well, don't blame me, guys. Man,
All right.
I'm just trying to remain wonderful and happy. Thank you so much. That everything you're doing is phenomenal. I got to go back and rehear so I get complete understanding. But you always on it, man.
Sure, and just ignore those trolls. They just want your energy. That's all it is. So.
They got to pay me $100.
Indeed. All right. Hopefully they support your album. All right. You have a great day. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you. Okay, so that's on the Apple Music Store. And again, on the Apple App Store. And it will be on the Google Play Store. Again, they were submitted the exact same day. So I got to imagine Google's not too far behind. But if you have Apple App Store, you can download. You just search GEN Gematria Calculator. It's an offline Gematria calculator. So you have all the functionality there. You're on the road. What I always think is fun to do if you're on a road trip is just look at the mileage they put up on signs. You'll blow your mind with the mileage they put up. If you ever wonder, how did they decide to put the sign there? Just wait until you learn this. You'll be like, holy shit, man, they're even putting up the road signs this way. All right, I know I said I was going to take one more call. I swear to God, this is the last call just because this is a great caller. He's called me for years. I'm getting off after this. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I know you want to get off, but I just want to add one more thing about the Roger Mayweather. His boxing record was 59-13 with 35 knockouts.
35 knockouts, huh?
Yeah, 35 knockouts. I think of the 59 with Negro and the 35 knockouts. I'm thinking of Kevin Durant since he got diagnosed with coronavirus today too. So I just think his record was 59-13 and 35 knockouts.
Yeah, I saw that about the 59, but yeah, I was overlooking the 35 knockouts, and that's a big boxer number. So yeah, I'll do some more work on that, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I just want to tell you that quick before you get off.
Okay, you saw when we covered how he died on Floyd Mayweather's 23rd day of his age, and Floyd's name is 83, and his uncle's name's 83, the 23rd prime?
I missed that part of the video. Only part I caught that it was 38 days from his birthday.
Oh, I haven't even measured from his uncle yet. Okay, so 38 days from the uncle's birthday too, huh?
It said his birthday is April 24th.
I see that. Oh, so 38 days, death 38. I mean, just so routine.
And you said, and how many days after his last birthday it was?
Well, I measured from Floyd Mayweather's birthday. I didn't measure from the uncle's. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, though. Sick stuff, man.
All right, Zach.
All right, appreciate it, man.
I'll be looking for that video on that.
Okay, yeah. I'll do a shorter one on it. Appreciate it, man.
All right,
take care. Okay, yeah, again, death, murder, killing, RIP, all 38. The uncle's dead 38 days before his upcoming birthday. I mean, stuff is just clockwork, unfortunately. All right, thanks, everyone, for tuning in. If you guys can pledge that $1 to Patreon, again, it's linked in the description of every video, unless I upload from my cell phone, then it doesn't put anything in there. But almost every video, description for Patreon's there. I'll pin it as the top post. Again, you guys, pledge that money, man. The time is now to make all the difference. We got to get a team of people. We got a pound payment like we did in Seattle. We got to do it all over. Get the word out. Make buzz. Get news stations to at least hear about it till the day they cover it. Once the buzz is loud enough, they can't ignore it. At least that's what I imagine. All right, Truth Seeker. Appreciate everyone. And until next time.